Right here on Fox Footy.
It doesn't get much better.
And a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the MCG. Round 15 action continues, and it is going to be an absolute beauty. Top of the table, St Kilda up against 4th place Melbourne. Been waiting for this for a while, Brian. It is going to be a high-class clash today.
Should be a ripper, Gary. Both these sides coming off a loss, so both will be desperate to get back in the winning feel of things, and let's hope today that for St Kilda's sake they can resurrect their early season form as well.
Indeed, they've lost 3 of the past 4 matches. The Saints by an average of 35 points, including a 46-point pumping by Port Adelaide down at York Park. They've got some injury problems and suspension problems as well. Fraser Gehrig and Brent Guerra, who have been early season stars, not available today. A lot of responsibility falls on the shoulders of Revolt and also Hamill, and we do believe Aaron Hamill just wandered out of Epworth Hospital less than an hour ago where he had an injection, has been reported into the hip.
Well, he's labouring a little bit there in the warm-up. You just see him taping off the run through there, and it didn't look too good for him. Look, they're number one in attack, they're number one in defence. They're still a very, very good side. Revolt there at centre-half forward will be a really important player for them. Lenny Hayes through the midfield. And, of course, Luke Penny escaped a suspension during the week, was overturned, and he's back in there at centre-half back, which gives them a bit of height in the back line as well.
Pretty important too, Luke Penny. Maybe go to David Neitz. A couple of changes in the Melbourne lineup that we'll go through as well, which will impact on just where they set up in the back half. Nick Revolt, a lot of responsibilities falls onto his shoulders. He's having a super season once again. One thing perhaps he hasn't done enough of, and that is kick goals. I guess with Fraser Gehrig he hasn't had to push too deep, but I just think tonight, or today rather, his starting point might be a little bit closer to goal.
Yeah, it may well be. Look, he's first in the AFL in uncontested marks, Gary, so he gets out and gets loose and gets plenty of it. Contested marks, he's 12th in the AFL in that area there with marks like that. What about that? What a fantastic effort. His courage has never been under question.
Incredible courage. The matchup will be interesting. Wonder whether Jared Rivers, who has taken all before him, will line up on Nick Revolt. It is something that Neil Danaher would have put a lot of time in through the week. Here is the Melbourne side, and we can tell you that there are 2 late changes. Bad news is Brad Miller, the star young centre-half forward, having a very good year, is out. He's had an illness, and also Matthew Will on a late withdrawal. Into the side comes Simon Godfrey and Daniel Bell, a young man playing his first game of AFL footy. We congratulate him.
It would be an exciting day for him playing in a team like this, and you have a good look at the Melbourne lineup there, and Green, hasn't he been in sensational form across that centre line and throughout the midfield? Uze, you're never quite sure where he's going to play, whether he's going to play forward, back, or in the midfield. Jared Rivers, an important role back. They've got a really solid back line. It's a settled back line, Gary. Those 6 have played together for quite a while.
They have indeed, and their midfield also has been in very good form. Green and Bruce and Uze, but one young man that does sneak under the guard a little bit is James McDonald, number 23. He was runner-up in the best and fairest with the Demons last year, and already has missed some games with a knee injury, but he leads Melbourne in clearances and also tackles.
He's just such an important in and under player, isn't he? He's probably the hardest player at the ball. I wouldn't be surprised whether he's in the top 5 in hard ball gets in the competition as well, because he certainly knows how to win the very, very hard ball. And he's a bit of a barometer for what Melbourne are about through that midfield. He's a real courageous type player, and his teammates love him.
And that is Daniel Bell. Our first look at Daniel Bell, and first look in senior company for Melbourne supporters. He's pretty highly rated down there at Melbourne. Has been in very good form with the Sandringham Footy Club. Wearing a pretty famous number 2 worn by Stephen Phoebe, who sits, I think, second in the game's record for the Melbourne Footy Club.
Don't know a lot about him. Gary Glenelg, South Australia, that's about all I know, but if they're playing him today in this important match, he must be all right.
Yes, and important it is. As you look at the AFL ladder, all the top 4 sides are running around in action today, so that just underlines how important it is. The Saints want to go clear on top of the ladder, and Melbourne would love to draw level on points, so it is a significant match, and it will be an absolute beauty. As you said, both sides coming off disappointing losses last week. They'd love to get back into the winners.
Melbourne can't afford to lose, because the gap is going to open up between 4th and 5th very, very shortly. Probably after this weekend, they must hang in there.
Looking forward to it, Brian. It will be an absolute beauty. Eddie Maguire to join us after this for the bounce of the ball. You are watching Sunday Football. Association with both of these clubs that are involved today. As a superstar young player with St Kilda, went on to coach Melbourne, of course, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame. The toss of the coin, Lenny Hayes and David Neitz, 2 opposing captains. Be tough to work out whether it's a header or tail to tail. Lenny Hayes has won, and we'll kick to the left of the screen as we say good afternoon for the first time to Eddie Maguire.
Good afternoon, Gary and Brian, and great to see Carl Dittrich there, a man who left a lasting impression on not just St Kilda and Melbourne, but on most opponents that he played on throughout his career.
Indentation impression.
Exactly, and doing wonderful things up in Swan Hill, in the education world, and also in junior football. So great to see Carl Dittrich there in action. Interesting today, boys. Melbourne have won the past 6 matches against St Kilda by an average of 34 points. You have to go back to the end of the last century for a St Kilda win against the Demons in 1999. And of course, as you said in the introduction there, Gary and Brian, some late changes to the Melbourne side. No change to the St Kilda team, but Aaron Hamill just less than 45 minutes ago having local anaesthetic, an injection at Epworth Hospital into his hip. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not he remains mobile. How long do those things last, boys? You've had a few.
Should get him through the game, you would imagine. We'll have a little chat about that with Brian as we head down to Jason McCartney first of all.
Thanks, Gary, and good afternoon to everybody. The conditions today, the ground's in perfect condition. The weather is forecast for some showers later on today. We have Xavier Clark playing his 50th game for the Saints, which was a fantastic effort from the young boy from the NT. It's interesting to note that the last time these two sides met in a blockbuster was back in 1998 in the first semi-final, which you were out injured once again, Gary, I believe.
Thank you very much, Jason. Made it back for the following prelim that we just unfortunately went down to the Kangaroos. Brian, the local anaesthetic, probably done under X-ray supervision.
Have a look at this in the centre square. Lenny Hayes has been targeted straight away. Phil Reid, the angry ant, formerly of the West Coast Eagles, in there amongst it. Have a look at it, the right of screen. Lots of pushing and shoving as Hayes tries to get clear. This is a blockbuster match. We're underway at the MCG. And ball out of the centre for the Saints. Kicks forward. It's grabbed there by Fisher. Trying to get the handball away. It spills. Powell goes in. Umpire's playing the whistle. Melbourne free kick at half-back flank.
Revolt started at full forward. Nicholson picking him up. Harvey started deep in attack and going to run with Nathan Brown, I reckon, which is a fair pat on the back.
McDonald marks. Ball forward already. The Demons going to attack Bruce. Outmanoeuvred by Swartz on that occasion. It's tough and rough in there at the moment. Bruce with clean hands. Got it to Walsh, the defender. From outside 50, launches a long ball. It's a centering type ball. Johnstone got his man Maguire just under the ball. Did it nicely. Kept it alive. Needs the boundary line. In the end, he kept it alive. That's danger for the Demons. Hodgson. Davey pursuing. Boundary line. Finally, Melbourne found it. A couple of seconds too late. Have a boundary throw in an attack for the Demons. That local anaesthetic, I would have thought, Gary, they would put enough into him to last the whole game, surely.
Yeah, Mike was done in hospital just to make sure, probably under X-ray, to make sure they get it into the right spot, Brian. Aaron Hamill.
So the throw in. Holland got the tap. St Kilda running away now. To half forward. Graham's kick was pretty good. Now it's picked up by the X-Man Clark. Look at that. X-ray kick. The X-Factor here is Harvey. He gets it across. How good's that anaesthetic? Not too flash.
And Brian, big move. Robert Harvey, Nathan Brown, we know how important he is and how big a year he's having. He started in the back pocket. Harvey's gone down to virtually play on Nathan Brown. Now that is a massive endorsement of the sort of year Brown's having.
Big compliment indeed, Gary.
And Jason Graham getting his first kick for the Saints. Of course, played a couple of games for the Brisbane Lions. Number 15 today for the St Kilda side.
Ball back into play by Uze. Out wide, Hamill's there. Involved in the contest. Del Santo needs a good one today, Del Santo. Saints forward, kick to Harvey on the leg again. Heffernan's there with him, grabbed it clean hands, Robert Harvey, we expect that of him. Hamill goes wide, looking for ball. Ball, a driving ball to the goal square. Outmanoeuvred Powell. Rivers did well. Boy, what a year he has had. There's the man in question, Nathan Brown. From the back pocket for the Demons, goes out wide once again. High ball. Holland couldn't mark it. Ground level, Nicholson. Heffernan. Melbourne looked good at the moment. Kick to centre wing. Robertson did well to bring the ball to the ground. That's all he could do.
Baker crunched.
In the end, the Saints pick it up, and here they go through the middle. Slipped over there at the last moment. Noble. Now it's on to Ozzy. Normally pretty good on his non-preferred side. Have a look at that. Revolt has marked right on 50. Ozzy Jones. Beautiful delivery.
Yeah, he's got Walsh, who's doing a similar job, a defensive job on Ozzy Jones. Revolt started full forward. Nicholson was the matchup. He wandered out the half forward to take Nicholson away and just lost his man in the transition.
23 goals in his 14 games so far this year. This being his 15th, of course. A little bit of left to right about that. Revolt's got the first goal of the game. The Saints are away.
Great kick from a great young player. Not only is he a potential superstar, this fella, he's a superstar, Nick Revolt. And look, they've just got to work out who's going to go with Revolt. And if it is going to be Nicholson, he needs to follow him everywhere. If they've got a different man for him at half forward as opposed to full forward, well, they need to wait until there's a stop in play before they make that change. He's gone back to the goal square now. Nicholson's got him. Expect him to move out to half forward and Hamill to work his way back.
So first goal to the Saints through Nick Revolt. Back in the centre of the ground. White gets the tap. McDonald just flicked it further forward. Aussie Jones beautifully up the back of the square. Puts it out in front of Graham. He can run on the ball here. Goes to Graham. Could have gone off the ground. Davey was grabbed high. Umpire didn't see it. It spills out to Hamill again, who's been busy. Finds a bit of space. Look at that. A beautiful handball inside. Big Noble it is, who thumps it long to the goal square. Offline. And he's got it on the line. To mark. Right on the line. Harvey's got it. Plays on straight away. Looking for Clark. It was a bit high for him. Good play by Rivers. Clark's still there though. Wanted the free kick. Rivers. Brown. Handball. Danger still. Good play. Green got it across the floor. But that handball was a little bit too slick. Fisher got a hand on the ball. They dive in the Saints. Good forward pressure. They have locked it in, as we love to say on a Monday night. And it's still 40 metres out from the St Kilda goal.
Oh, it's a good game, Eddie. It's a really good game. Both sides are up and about. A couple of key matchups there.
It's a hot ball, Gary. Inside the forward 50 for the Saints. Out of the middle. Reed trying to take it away for Melbourne. Socketed it. Robertson couldn't control it. Hodgson all over him. Umpires are doing well at the moment. They're letting the play go. Not paying silly free kicks. Good stuff. Baker trying to fight his way out. Really letting it go. The uppers. Well done. Huzaya driving ball forward for the Demons. They launch another attacking campaign. Schwartz was there. Maguire. Good play. Saints in defence as they find the boundary line eventually, I think. No, they won't. Harvey will keep it in. Did some good work. Hayes. Right on the boundary line. The Demons arrive in numbers. The steal by Johnstone was fantastic. The kick not so good. Over the line and out of bounds. Boy, the pace is hot.
Yep, finals type atmosphere here today, Gary, with the intensity out there.
Yeah, and a big crowd in attendance as well. It's a fair dress rehearsal come September. Both these sides will be heavily involved.
There's the St Kilda bench. From the throw in, Hodgson gets his head buried into the ground. The ball up, 55 out from the Melbourne goal. Yet to score. We've been going for just on 6 minutes in this opening term. There, the umpires, Bozo, Rowe and Margetts. They've obviously watched the Sunday Footy show. Heard Brian Taylor's spray about the umpiring yesterday.
Oh, gee.
Baker grabbed high. No, he tried to bulldog his way through. So the umpire says, fair enough.
Had to be
Rowe,
there.
have
Had
a
to be
bounce.
there, Ed.
So umpire Rowe has the ball. Fairly big pack around it. Maguire gives it a good thump. Baker, free kick to Melbourne, and will go to Holland for too high.
Been picked up by Brett Voss, playing centre half forward in the absence of Brad Miller, a late withdrawal with a virus.
Holland at half forward. Neitz gives the lead. That's where it's going. Neitz will contest. From behind, up goes Bruce. Might have spoiled his own man, but he's got it. Ground level. Cameron Bruce into the open goal. That's the first of the Demons. Good play, Cameron Bruce. He had the sit, went for the ball, and picked up his own crumbs.
Well, we were here only a couple of weeks ago, Melbourne v Essendon, and Bruce playing on James Hird probably took the honours, and well, he's being picked up at the moment by Troy Schwartz, who just lost him in traffic. We just know how classy he is. He's got great balance, endurance, can take a mark. He's going to be a very important player. Gone into the middle of the ground now, so he, McDonald, Reed, who's running with Hayes and White to set up for the Demons.
So the Demons with their first goal coming at the 7-minute mark of this first quarter. And it's a 1-point lead going St Kilda's way. To half forward Robertson. Of the Demons, Graham over the top. May have been friends. Robertson really working hard at ground level. Neil Danaher would like to see that. The handball from White. Intercepted by the Saints. Noble has had a bit of it already in the middle. Stripped to the ball. The Saints. They're away again. Here goes Bruce. His beautiful white foot. Look at that. Green has marked deep in attack for the Demons.
Well, it looks like Brett Green is changing with Cameron Bruce. So Green now being picked up by Schwartz. Bruce in the middle of the ground. Stephen Baker was a player set for Brad Green. Not a bad move from Neil Danaher. Take Green forward.
Tackle by Davey was fantastic. Ball was away, and he's not slow, Paul. He had about 1.5 steps before he was absolutely nailed by Davey.
Tough kick, this one. A little bit of right to left about it. You feel from up here. I know we haven't been down on the ground, but in comes Green. A very tough kick. And there it is. The umpire just backs up and says, boy, that was well done, Brad Green. They've got their second in a row, the Demons.
Have to be the best kick for goal running around in the AFL at the moment, Brad Green. And just to further emphasise the point, to take Brad Green deep, if Stephen Baker goes with him, you'd like that matchup if you're a Melbourne supporter. They haven't, obviously, they've maintained Baker up towards the middle of the ground. And, oh no, he's now gone with him. So that's a good matchup for Melbourne. Green on the forward line with Stephen Baker next to him.
Welcome back. The tackle count. Davey's already had 3 of Melbourne's 8. St Kilda have had 4. Sometimes the tackle count shows that you're chasing tail all day, but Melbourne have been very aggressive. As Hamill gets it out, here's Graham. Decides to scram, go to 50. Tap on the ground, that's dropping forward is. It's the equivalent of a bounce, and you can't do that when you're being held.
Just panicked a little, didn't he?
Yeah. First game, he's obviously trying to impress. Been told by the coach, you'd imagine, to run through the lines, give him from run off the wing. So the ball comes out to Reid, who is very angry at the opening bounce. Reid kicks up the line, looking for Brown. It's a good kick. Brown got one hand to it. Robertson, good play. Kicks along the boundary line again. Walsh can go into Brown. He kept it in. Did he? No. Umpire was right on the spot. And he said he took it over the line while throwing just inside the forward 50 for Melbourne. Have kicked the last 2 goals of the game to lead by 5 points. Holland does the ruck work. Noble got the tap. Good play by Ball. Voss to Hamill. That was a beautiful kick. Made Hamill come forward with his 5th disposal. He goes. Was over the head though of Dalzendo. But Graham it was. Now it opens up for Heffernan. Heffernan goes forward with a kick. Robertson's there. It's past him. The kick from Heffernan was just not on target. The 2 leading players were Neitz and Robertson. Missed the road. Jason McCartney's on the boundary.
Thanks, Eddie. Yeah, Garo spoke about interesting matchup with Brett Voss on Holland, giving away a few inches, which allows Matt Maguire to pick up the smaller Johnston. Maybe a swap could be changed there and arranged.
The Demons by 5 points. Boundary thrown in there, forward 50. Holland tries to keep it alive. Voss just a clearing kick in hope, and got a really good bounce and gained 40s for his mob as they work at the half back. So a real cracking start of this game. Pace is on. It's ferocious. Both sides trying to win the ball, and both sides fighting for a spot in the top 4 to stay there anyway. St Kilda currently on top, and Melbourne hanging on to 4th position. Holland set with the ruck work. Blake there as well. Might have infringed. The other way it was. It'll go to the Saints. Ball's away. Not even waiting. Kicked into the middle of the ground. Good looking ball. Knocked down there by Ward. Through they come now. Hayes couldn't win it. In fact, it was Broadbridge. Great tackle. Good tackle, wasn't it, applied? And it'll be a turnover. The Demons will take it away. Uze will drive it forward. He goes wide. Looking for Green. Stretches high. Off hands. Robertson. Luck. Evan Bartlett couldn't keep it going. Hodgson kept it in, and lucky for him, got a boundary throw in.
Both Harvey and Hayes spending time in St Kilda's forward line at the moment, which is interesting. You maybe expect one of those 2 to be in and around the footy in the midfield.
Throwing right on the forward 50 for Melbourne, who have dominated the last 5 minutes of play. Holland gets the front spot, knocks it down to no one's advantage. He has to go himself. Knocked out by Ball. Robertson for Melbourne over the top of it. Holds it up. We'll have another bounce.
Maguire now pushed forward. Luke Ball up against James McDonald. That's a terrific start for the young man. Matt Maguire's gone forward to play across half forward for the Saints.
45 metres out from the Melbourne goal. Ball does the ruck work in the end. It's Davey who roves. It's pushed out of business by Baker. Ball again with his 8th disposal to Powell, who just slaps it on the boot. White came out. Bouncing ball beats them all. Comes to Hayes, trying to be a little bit clever with the handball. It's been chopped off. Good play by the Melbourne side as Uze transfers play out to the southern stand on side of the ground. Ward On the left boot, up towards half-forward flank position. Aussie Jones, Fisher. Wobbly old kick. Del Santo got it off. Powell. Another wobbly kick forward, but Rewalt's too good. Got Nicholson out of position. And will line up from goal just 25 metres out on a 45-degree angle. And that's the first inside 50 for the Saints since the 6-minute mark of this quarter. And we're now 13.5 minutes in. So 7.5 minutes without getting into the forward 50. But when they did it well. So Nick Rewalt for his second goal of the game. And St Kilda's second major to put them in front by a point. He does all that. That champion from Queensland. Rewalt gets his second.
Well, he looms as the match winner from a St Kilda point of view, Nick Rewalt. I don't think that's any great surprise to anyone. The thing is, they might just have to sacrifice. You saw the statistic we had there, 13 marks last week. A lot of those were taken up the ground around the wing, pushing hard up the ground. They might have to sacrifice some of that possession around the ground for an 8-goal return from Nick Rewalt, playing essentially as a full forward. I think he's very capable of that today. Made a great start.
Saints are back in front by a point. Rewalt kicking his second goal. 10 minutes remaining in the first term. White in the middle. Smashing thumb towards Robertson at centre half. Who'd come off the line and we'll have a ball up.
Del Santo, Hayes, Harvey all started inside forward 50 for St Kilda. Now, that's unusual. It might say a lot about Melbourne's defence and how attacking they are, and just trying to keep them honest and make them go to a player rather than just peel off and run like they have been.
Centre half forward for the Demons. There's White. Blake keeping him honest. He would just be hoping for a bit of a nil-all draw, I guess, Blake, when he goes into the ruck against Jeff White. White, the more athletic jumper type player. There's the matchup with Bruce and Baker that Gary spoke about earlier. A crucial one in the game. White stood his ground. Got a bit of a knock from behind. Hudson desperate to put his head over the ball. What about that? To try and win it. Robertson kept it alive for his team. And a ball up in Melbourne's forward 50.
No, pulled one out. Down to St Kilda. There you go. Blake gets the handball up to Baker. Baker to Del Santo, who marks on centre wing.
Good work, Heffernan. He knew he was a left footer. He was going to turn around, just held him up.
Del Santo now kicks up, looking for Maguire, who got forward. Picked up by Uze on his favourite left boot. Interesting ball here. There's three Saints. They get it. Hamill. Good play by Heffernan. Del Santo. Inside 50 from Maguire, but the kick drops short. Nicholson marks in front of Rewalt. Handballs off to Green. Green sets a task for Davey, who's equal to it. Almost. Del Santo now with the handball. The Saints pressing. Hamill held up by the little man Davey. That was a good tackle. Del Santo over the top of the ball. Heffernan, that's great pressure from Melbourne, but Heffernan's kick was short, just a little bit too cute. Graham opens it up. Aussie can run. Has it in the centre of there, but no, in fact, it's Black. Black's kick is a beauty to Rewalt. Off hands. Harvey. Goal kicking, not his forte usually. This time, he misses again. Rob Harvey. Gary, if it was the one minor criticism you'd have of this absolute superstar of the game, is he doesn't quite nail as many goals as some.
No.
And that is being as pedantic as you possibly can to one of the greatest players of all time.
No, he set up a stack, of
Yes,
course,
he
but
ever.
never been real confident going for goals halves.
Johnston, half back, penetrates down the corridor, and just a kick inside 50. It's that easy. Bruce dropped a mark. Was stretching to get to it. Holland in their support. Baker arrived, who was Bruce's direct opponent. Now Holland trying to keep it alive. Pretty awkward looking attempt. Game 10. Hudson been reasonably solid. Beautiful kick. Finds his man out wide. Doing it nicely. Fisher over the top. Here's the skipper. Lenny Hayes running on centre wing. Southern side. Beautiful kick. Rewalt. Now he's kicked one from 50 already today. This one's got a lot of angle about it. Not looking to kick it, just centering it to the hot spot. Full kick. And White has marked.
Rob Harvey was on too. Had made a beautiful lead. He does look like he's got a bit too much agility for Nicholson. Rewalt.
Who could play him, Gary?
Maybe Rivers, who's taken all before him, Eddie, this year.
Turnover again. Voss. St Kilda putting the wall up at the moment, doing it well. They transfer to Blake. Now it's off to Powell. Black can kick the full forward. Maguire's got the set. Couldn't quite hold it. Nudged in the back. Play on, says the umpire. Reid is there. Fisher. Hamill tries to shrug his opponent off. And the umpire bounced 49 metres out from goal.
I don't reckon, Brian, that the Melbourne backs are playing on a player that they would have planned for. Apart from Nicholson, they've really thrown a different six forwards, St Kilda, just to mix it up. No Mill. Yeah, don't let them get settled. This back line has been so good for Melbourne. They're just trying to work out who their opponents are.
Johnstone away from half-back with a couple of bounces again. Now he's only got one option, and that's this man here, Bruce. Got his man Baker under the ball. Did it really well. Now he needs a good clean pickup. Got it in the end. Kick around the body is brilliant. Neitz on the lead is marked strongly. And this is the position from where Brad Green goal at the 8-minute mark of this quarter, and Neitz will line up. First possession of the day, first grab of the day for David Neitz from about 45 metres out. Very difficult angle, right to left as I mentioned before. Kick on the way, it's a high ball. This one might have too much left in it, and it has. Just a minor score for David Neitz. 5.5 minutes remaining in the quarter, and it's the Saints by a point.
And identified the starter Luke Ball too as Neil Danaher. McDonald off, Godfrey's gone on the ball.
Baker at the Black. Black's kick, another wobbly one. He's usually a beautiful kick, Black. He's kicked a couple of floaters so far today. Schwartz takes it to the boundary line. A couple of his inside 50s, certainly the last one wobbled through. We'll have a throw in at half forward flank or close enough to it for the Saints. Used his body too well, said the umpire. And he's paid the free kick to St Kilda. Well, there you go. Black now, that's a better kick. Rewald from behind has got the sit. Couldn't quite make it to the ball. Heffernan flicks it over the top. Pressure's on now. Del Santo got a boot on the ball. It spills to Maguire. Hamill was on. Maguire just slapped it forward. Harvey, Rewald for goal. Number 3. The Saints are revolting.
I think it's time for Neil Danaher. 3 goals, and he has loomed on another couple of occasions where they just haven't been able to find him. So, look, you just see there he takes Nicholson up the ground and then turns him around, and that's the problem for Nicholson. He's very good straight on, very good side by side, but there he is running back towards goal, and that's the danger. So you'd be looking now at Broadbridge. You'd also be looking at Rivers as the next go at Rewald.
Sensational 3 first quarter goals, every goal for the Saints, and he is running Nicholson. You can see him, he's really working hard and doing a great job for the Saints at the moment. In the middle, White. Gary says they've got to do something at the moment, the Melbourne Football Club, with Rewalt. Up they go inside forward 50 again, the Saints. Through comes Hamill, trying to bust his way through there. Hanging over the top of the ball was Fisher. Put his head in. And the cavalry arrived and a few come up boxing.
It's against Aaron Hamill, I reckon, who just took exception to the fact that Uze got him pretty hard.
Corin Rowe, the umpire, jumping right on it. Shortish kick by Uze, finds Rivers. Close to the man on the mark, chipping kick out wide. Now Green can run here. He's got support in Heffernan for the Shepherd if he needs it. Green runs, takes a bounce, driving kick inside 50. Here they come. Holland! Umpire right on the spot. Did Voss in the air.
He's had 7 possessions, Ben Holland. I don't reckon he's had that many in a quarter ever. And the move that Jason McCartney flagged might be on. Maguire to go back to Holland. And Voss perhaps to go to the smaller Johnstone.
7 points down. The Demons as we draw into red time in this first quarter. 22.5 minutes expired on the clock. Holland will come in. 11 goals, 11 for the year. An unexpected star up forward has been Holland. Kick on the way. Looks scored. Look at that. The umpire just watched it sail over the top. And the Demons are back within a point.
Well, Matt Maguire sitting on the bench after having a bit of a run at half forward. I would imagine that he would be warming up. And unless he's sore, there was some speculation that Maguire is sore. In fact, he's walking around the boundary at the moment with the physio. So maybe that's the reason. There's the free kick against Aaron Hamill. But right now, Ben Holland will get a shot of the size difference between he and Brett Voss, it is substantial. He's had 8 possessions. He's kicked the goal. He's going very nicely.
Milne on for St Kilda, running up and down on the spot in the goal square. Up at full forward under the feet of Nick Revolts. The ball gets cleaned up and he knocked it forward. Umpires paid the free kick and ball is sore. Reid lined him up and got him.
Had a big first quarter as Luke Ball coming up for possession number 9.
Well, he earned his 9th possession, Gary, no doubt about that, as we also see Matt Maguire still looking a little bit ginger on the boundary line, walking, just stretching at his, looks like his groin or his quadricep at the moment. In the meantime, Rob Harvey's 55 out. He sets sail for home, looking for a revolt. Again, he's got it. He has got it in the goal square, the toughest place on earth to take the mark, Brian Taylor.
Absolutely. He just looked like he had it all the way. Did he just elevate it vertically?
The best part about it was that he was the one who read the ball perfectly. The others were all flailing around. He just had to stand there, get the height, and then hold the mark. This for goal number 4 in the first term. Wow. Some Fred Fanning pace nearly. Goal to Nick Revolt. Number 4.
Well, sometimes you just watch early in the game and you see a player who looks set for a big afternoon, and he's moving so well, Nick Revolt. He's moving around that forward line. He's got licence to go up to half forward. There's the free kick to Luke Ball against Reid.
And 4 goals in the first quarter. He would just feel unbeatable at the moment, wouldn't he? Within himself.
Yeah, no doubt. He'd be enjoying the fact that he's on Nicholson, who's now been moved. So Rivers is now the man who's gone to Revolt.
So Rewalt has kicked 4 and has a new opponent in Rivers. Nicholson has been moved to centre-half back, and he has now got Fisher. But Nick Rewalt there was just sensational.
He has started beautifully. And look, Jared Rivers has had a great year at centre-half back. Unfamiliar territory.
They need Rivers before they end up that proverbial creek push.
Absolutely. They're heading that way at the moment. The Saints on fire. Melbourne still very much in touch, but the Saints just seem to be playing that little better. Graham, been impressive early. Ball, got plenty of it. And as Gary has already mentioned, did well playing. Jones pursued by Davey. Look at the ball handling skills. Look at it. Away to the ground. Smooth, clean. And took on about 5 of them. He is an excitement machine. Let's go down to Jason McCartney.
So, yeah, Daniel Bell from Melbourne on the ground for his first run. Welcome to AFL football, straight on to Robert Harvey.
That's a big welcome. Daniel Bell, as you can see there, good lump of a lad, 186 centimetres, 83 kilos, 19 years of age from Glenelg. Godfrey, dragged down, was it? No, throwing the ball to the umpire.
And Luke Ball just coming off for a breather after a huge first quarter.
Ordinary kick from Graham, turned it over. I was about to say he's had a reasonably impressive first quarter, but this might cost his side. Robertson has marked 45 out directly in front. Kick coming in from Heffernan.
Well, the thing about it is, Brian, that St Kilda are playing okay. The one part where they're playing magnificently is at full forward. And Nick Revolt has got all 4 goals. Apart from that, probably in general field play, Melbourne are shading them.
So Russell Robertson coming in for his 13th goal of the season. They need it to keep in touch, and they get it. Well played, Russell Robertson.
And has been down, Russell Robertson, this year on a different role. He doesn't attract as much of the footy with Miller out of the side. I guess today's a day where a lot of football will be directed through him at half forward, the role that he played so very well last year in winning the best and fairest. First goal for the afternoon.
13 goals, 19 for the season, Gary.
Yeah, not the most accurate.
So the Demons, as we near the quarter-time siren, trail by just 1 point. Exciting first quarter football. White, Heffernan, out of the midfield, looking a little cleaner, says Gary Lyon at the moment in that area. Holland, diving attempt. Davey kept it alive. Put his head over the ball there. Did Godfrey, and almost had it ripped off. And he looks at the umpire and says, boy, I copped one up. Give me one.
I think it was good umpiring. I reckon he ducked his head, Brian.
Umpiring's been good in this first quarter. They've just let it go. It's been great.
Yep, exceptional.
Yep. Ball up, attacking 50 for the Demons. Just under 40 seconds remaining in the quarter. So the Demons can score here. They can turn it over. The Jones handball spent a long time in the air. It allowed Johnstone to sit on Black and apply the tackle. And they're a chance to kick a goal here, the Demons.
So the Demons, one last roll of the dice to lead at quarter time. Blake got the tap. Schwartz, there's a whistle on play. And it's going the way of St Kilda. So they should be able to defend their 1 point lead over the last few seconds. Schwartz gets up.
Robert, didn't he?
He admired his own work.
He did.
Quarter time at the MCG. Great game of football here, and standing ovation from all sections of the crowd. And well should they clap, because it has had everything. High marking, long kicking, plenty of courage. Bit of biffo in there as well, Gary. And the Saints lead by a point.
Yeah, and that man, Nick Revolt, 4 goals. All 4 goals. He looms as the difference at the moment between the two teams. Can Melbourne find a way around him? We'll find out. We'll take a break. It's the Saints by 1 point. A big first quarter for Nick Revolt. The 4 goals he kicked has St Kilda in front by point singles to Green, Robertson, Holland and Bruce. And as you'd expect, when we have a look at the statistics with an even scoreboard, pretty even across the board going forward, Brian. No significant standout statistic there at all.
And that's the score, 1 point in favour of St Kilda.
Ah, well, when the story comes together, I love it. Good news for us is you've got both your shoes on and your feet on the ground. As we have a look at the quarter-time huddle, Neil Danaher makes his way back into the coach's box. The biggest headache for him, of course, is Nick Revolt. Just what we do with him. Let's go down to the boundary, find out whether Jason McCartney has got any news for us.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, Daniel Ward's off the ground. He didn't go out to the quarter-time address then. The word is a called hit, but I'll be interested to see if that's the case or not. Grant Thomas was publicly stated in his press conference last week he was out-coached and his side wasn't hard enough. Well, he's been on the front foot today with some of his moves and his side's been pretty hard at it.
Good on you, Jace. There is a picture of Daniel Ward. Now, when you don't go out to the huddle and you're sitting there with the blanket over your legs, that would indicate that your afternoon's pretty well finished, Brian.
Yeah, it doesn't look flash at all, does it there, Gary? Especially with the other 3 running up and down, still doing their warm-ups. So down to 21, it would appear.
David Neitz, full forward, just the one kick, one mark. At the other end, Nick Revolt just carved into pieces. Jared Rivers, who's taken all before him this year, has got the big roll now at fullback on the young superstar.
And when you look at Luke Penny standing next to David Neitz, you realise just how important that appeal was last week for St Kilda to win. Reed for Melbourne, out of the centre, gets the handball away. White slaps it on the boot, up towards centre half forward. Robertson gets a cruel bounce. Davey over the top of it. Holland with clean hands gets it out wide. Here's Walsh from outside 50, looking for Neitz now. The wrestlers on Penny and Neitz. And it's over the line that will hit the behind post, so it'll be a throw in the left forward pocket of the punt road end of the MCG. So a big opportunity for Melbourne to get one on the board early and reclaim the lead. They trail by a point. Throw in. Holland does the ruck work against Blake. Blake flicks it backwards. Hutchinson, good clean hands to Maguire, but he couldn't get the kick away far enough. And the man with the deadly boot has got it. Brad Green has kicked one today. A magnificent goal from about 45 out on a pretty tight angle. And that was Brad Green's 20th of the season. He's kicked 20 goals for, Gary.
Could not be in worse hands if you're a St Kilda supporter, I wouldn't think.
And 149 goals, 70. This for his career 150th goal. Brad Green comes in to put Melbourne in front. Collects the whole lot. Demons in front.
Well, he didn't do too much wrong. Matty Maguire probably only he needed to try and aim it out towards the boundary line a little bit more. Some good forward line pressure from the Melbourne forwards, forced the turnover. It's Reed it is that puts the pressure on. And the only problem was he brought it back into play a little bit. And anywhere from 50 metres, almost anywhere on the ground, Brad Green is a better than even money chance of converting. So nice start for Melbourne.
So Brad Green, with his 5th disposal, kicking his 2nd goal, and all of a sudden Melbourne have kicked 3 of the last 4 goals. In the middle they go. Melbourne have been good in this area. Walsh pushed off.
Oh, look at that.
Anyone confronting him. White for Reed inside the centre square. Long ball. Neitz had led. Now he had to get back to the square quickly. It's gone over the head and it's a goal. Reed's got one from inside the centre square.
Well, Brian, it's out of the middle. I have mentioned on a couple of occasions that the Saints are starting with some of their star midfielders outside the centre square. Now, Lenny Hayes is currently at about just inside 50. You've got Baker, Blake, Ball and Harvey. But Melbourne just clearing the ball out of the middle there too easily.
Last 3 goals of the game to Melbourne. As Brian mentioned, 4 of the last 5. Black tries to stem the tide. Out to Hodgson. Under pressure, gets his kick away, floats forward. Hard one to mark. Made easy by the skipper. Hayes inside 50. Revolt comes out. He's almost got it on the chest. Brown from Melbourne to Broadridge. On the outside of the boot, McDonald. Green. Thumping kick. This gives Davey a chance. Being held back by Graham. The bounce is fortuitous there for Robertson, who just throws it over his head. Holland runs onto it. Gives it up to Cameron Bruce from 55. He shanks the kick. It bounces and bounces and bounces over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in.
It was a shank, wasn't it? Just at the other end of the ground. St Kilda now have to work so very hard to make sure that Nick Revolt can still compete one out. Now that forward line needed to be open. He had a run at it, but on that occasion ran into another opponent, another teammate and his opponent. They really need to work hard to open it up for him.
Holland doing the ruck work again here for Melbourne. Up against Noble, who got the front spot. Tapped it down to Maguire, tried to crash through. Maybe prior opportunity there. No, says the umpire. Robertson tries to get himself through the hole as well. Hodgson, they're under pressure, but they did it well. Out to Harvey. Harvey sets it up to Hodgson. Ooh, was almost crunched. Good courage there from Maxie Hodgson. Got it out to Black on his favoured left side. Black just chips it up the ground. Finds Del Santo. Del Santo can come into the corridor, and the Saints are away now.
They are indeed through the middle. They took some risks, but now it'll pay off. Ball through the middle, penetrating run. Got it over the top to Graham. He can launch from inside the centre square. Long ball. Rewalt has marked and will light up for goal number 5. No one else for St Kilda has kicked the goal today. This man here has got them all, and we're in the 2nd quarter.
And look at that. Again, just pushed his player, took his player up the ground, was able to double back. He's so strong in the air. 5 to Revolt.
Rewalt comes in and goes bang and got it. 5 goals for Nick Revolt.
Now, you want to give Jared Rivers the chance. Jared Rivers wouldn't have played fullback too often, so he's had a great year. But now some pressure comes on to Neil Danaher, although they're leading, they're still in front. Going to start thinking about some contingencies for this bloke Revolt, because I would think one-on-one in a marking contest he might just be too big and a bit too strong. So whether you drop a player back or look outside the square a bit, see.
So 5 points to difference, and Gary, the 5 goals have come from a combined total of 85 metres. So he's getting them right in close to the goals. The long kick from Graham was a beauty. Yep. Now's a chance for Melbourne. Out comes exciting Davey. Went down with the one hand, knocked it forward. Here's Davey again, twisting and turning, doing some shadow boxing. Look at that deft touch around the body. Sublime.
Yeah,
Travis Johnson's got the mark.
Sorry, Ed, I'll put our stats man to work here. I remember playing against St Kilda in a game. The Tony Lockett, I reckon, kicked 12 out of 14 out at Waverley, Melbourne v St Kilda, and the Demons still won. So maybe that's running through Neil Danaher's mind. While they're still kicking goals, just let Nick Revolt go.
Johnson comes in from 50. Long kick, bends it back. Beautiful kick for Travis Johnson. The Demons reply.
Well, I guess that's the question, Brian, is at one end you've got a bloke absolutely dominant, but the other forward's not contributing too much, so do you just let it go and back your midfielders and your own forward line in?
Well, at the moment you do, Gary, because Melbourne have done all the attacking in this quarter anyway. They've kicked 3 goals to St Kilda's 1, and If Rewalt picks up the occasional goal, well, so be it. Let him go.
Lovely kick from Travis Johnstone, just coming back into the side after a long layoff.
So Melbourne extend their lead to 11 points. We've played 7 minutes in the second quarter. They've kicked 3 goals to St Kilda's 1 in this second quarter. Green out of the middle to Reid. Hudgston's on him almost before he even had the ball. Now it's in dispute. Lots of players. Heavy traffic. Ball. Look for the impossible handball to Hudgston. Trying to take his jumper off there. Did the young fella in Daniel Bell playing in his first senior game. Before today, Nick Rewalt had kicked 10 goals in his last 2 matches against Melbourne. And here he is already early in the second quarter with 5. Ball up. Half forward for the Demons. Perhaps even centre wing. Black. Ozzie Jones went in and then came back out. Baker was tackled. Heffernan. The pressure the D's are putting on the midfield is fantastic. Hayes, collision again. Robertson, second time he had tried to line up someone. Hudgston came through and gave him one of his own. He's feeling the effect of that. Have a look at the Baker nose.
Where was it Russell Robertson who went to bump another player, and during the bump his arm flung back and collected Baker. I think you'll find it was pretty accidental. There's the bump from Robertson and the backhander
just a backhander, yeah.
to Baker, which he wouldn't have been aware of.
You feel for Stephen Baker. He's having one of those days. Every time he goes near it, he seems to be getting clobbered. Noble now sets it up to the hot spot. Mark needed, and beautiful mark taken there by Fisher. Stephen Baker comes off. Oh, they hurt those ones.
Sure you do, yeah. Here it is again. That is unlucky.
He had everything going. The physicist out there would be able to tell us the centrifugal forces. His arm went through, and
He just knows his bone went through his nose. That's all he knows.
Okay, so we wait for the replacement to come on for Baker. He's as tough as they come. Doesn't matter how tough you are when you cop one like that.
Just making his way off slowly. Gives us a chance to have a look at some of the stats. Luke Ball is up to 15 possessions halfway through the second quarter, which is an amazing statistic. And our statistician, Lukey Boy's come through. Round 4, 1987 at the MCG. Plugger Lockett kicked 12 goals, 3 of a total 14 goals, 8. And they lost.
So Sam Fisher lining up for his first goal in football. A big one for this man in his life, but also for his team this afternoon. Fisher's kick is well offline. He now has 2 career behinds.
Gee, the kicking's been good here today.
Until then.
Just the 4 behinds, Ed. And there's Baker getting some attention. Still blood streaming from the nose. Just feeling it, Kerry. You have that feeling.
Eyes and water. Right, looking at that.
Everyone up here squinting.
Oh, the kick in. Turnover here for the Demons. Thompson has marked it. Too far out for him to score. Ozzie Jones looks for the low ball. Broadbridge.
Well, Uze was on Rewalt the goal square because he was kicked the ball out.
Turned it over again by foot the Demons. Maguire through the centre circle. A thumping, driving kick. Harvey's in good position. Milne.
Well, maybe they haven't been able to get into it because everything that goes down there, Rewalt's been able to get a hold of. But Stevie Milne coming up for possession number 1 for the match.
Yep, and we're 11 minutes into the second quarter. He sat a lot of the first on the bench, of course. Came on with about 5 minutes to go and has played all of this second quarter. Milne comes in, point blank range, got it. Saints have got one back, their second goal of the quarter.
Oh, it's a fair contest. A couple of bad turnovers though. First a kick out from Uze, and then that one there into the middle of the ground. Del Santo was able to intercept, and then that's the kick that you want from Maguire when you've got a winning forward like Rewalt and you've got Smalls at their feet. Get it in there long and get it in there quick.
So Milne becomes St Kilda's second goal kicker for the day. He has 1. Rewalt has 5. But Melbourne still lead by 4 points. Just over 12.5 minutes left in the second term. A great game of football, this one. Plenty of action. Up they go. Noble timed his run the best. Knocked it forward. The new player there was Bell. Didn't quite get it. Nicholson finds a bit of space. The handball wasn't too close. Slapped on. Heffernan over the top of it. Nicholson goes again. He's held up by a ball. And we'll have a bounce in the middle of the MCG. Talk about the turnovers, Gary and Brian. Just the pressure is enormous out there at the moment as Baker has his nose stuffed like a bread roll. Baker. Here's a chance now for the Demons through Walsh. Kicks it forward. Neitz comes out on the lead. Crashes through. Taken to ground. Robertson hits the post.
Plenty of work being done off the ball by Luke Penny and David Neitz. Good umpiring again. Both players bit of scragging and grabbing, and he didn't call the free kick. Just let it go.
5-point lead to the Demons. Del Santo with the kick-in duties. Now he's got the two in the back pocket if he wants to use left and right as the get out of jail. But he elects to go long. Looking out there for Noble. 1-on-2. There's the support. It arrives in the way of Black. He runs from the scene. Handball. Good chase by Godfrey, wasn't it? Hamill all over the back of Bruce. Or Broadbridge it was. Now Hayes comes out with the ball on his non-preferred side. Rewalt and Rivers did well. The ball was just a little bit lengthy for Rewalt on that occasion.
But he also was limited on where he could run, Brian, because there were two other St Kilda players down there. He couldn't come back into the middle of the ground, which might have exposed Rivers, because there was Harvey and Nuze and another player in his opponent. So, gee, if I was coaching, I'd be throwing everyone out and letting Rewalt go.
Boundary throw in. St Kilda attacking his own. Clark to Thompson from the boundary line on his non-preferred side. He has kicked the miracle goal.
He's got a tough role these days, Andrew Thompson, to play. Very much on and off the interchange bench. And I guess when you come on, you're expected to have an impact almost immediately, and he certainly did that. That's a lovely finish. Got a noted goal kicker, but on that occasion, absolutely perfect from the, on the left foot.
The Saints back in front. Back-to-back goals to the Saints. Thompson in there again. Slapped forward by Noble. The opposing ruckman White just puts it out in front. Shocking bounce though. Godfrey was clean bowled. Comes out to Thompson. Now ball. The Saints are on a roll at the moment. Rewalt! Didn't quite hold it long enough. Uze kicks for the boundary line and finds it. But we're still inside St Kilda's forward 50. The inside 50s for this quarter. We'll get them for you right now.
Yeah, that's a let-off.
7-5 St Kilda's way. It was a let-off. He had it, didn't he?
Oh, he would mark that 9 out of 10.
White gets the tap. Godfrey there. Bit of friendly fire as Bell came through. Hayes, released ball. Ball's kick. Won't go through. Now it's through for a rush behind. Fisher getting his hands to the ball. Couldn't quite hold it for the Saints.
17 possessions, Luke Ball just continues to rack them up. Having a very big afternoon.
Just about make him the leading possession getter on the ground. I think the next best is 12 with Ben Holland, so...
It's an unlikely next best.
It is. Very unlikely indeed. Bell, Daniel Bell, kicking the ball forward to Rivers. He's got the unequal little task of minding Rewalt at the moment. Jared Rivers has not put a foot wrong all year for the Demons in defence. Admittedly, it's been at centre half back, and he's had to go back to the last line today because Nicholson didn't get the job done early. Heffernan marks on centre wing. 2-point lead to St Kilda. We've played 16 minutes in this second quarter, just over 10 minutes remaining. High ball. Noble went up, tried to just bring it to ground. The smother of Johnstone wasn't effective. Shot the handball to Bruce. Bruce has got Green. Did his man. Was worried a little bit too much about him. And Green will line up directly in front, Gary.
Yeah, Schwartz went looking for Brad Green. Lost him. Lost contact with him as the backman. Then turned his back on the play for just a second. There you go. And as soon as you do that, you are gone. So from a forward's point of view, you got to try and make your opponent turn around.
Green for goal number 3 of the day. And to put the Demons back in front. From 20 metres out, got it. 3 for Green. Demons hit the front.
Good work from Travis Johnstone in tight there. He's had a pretty good game. Travis Johnstone coming back from a long layoff. But you'll get to see this again. Troy Schwartz, this is the nice hands from Johnston. Bruce to the top of the square. Schwartz has turned his back, and then Green was able to read the flight of the drop of the ball. And he was never going to miss from there. So David Neitz not busy amongst them, but the Demons still racked up 8 goals.
Both sides really being able to get it right into the forward area. A lot of goals from inside 25 today so far. And as a result of that, we have a pretty good scoreline with 8-2 playing 7-4. Black knocking it out. Picked up by Hayes. Hayes has kicked Harvey's away. All on his own. Rob Harvey can go for home. He does. Sees the open goal square. Has it got enough? Touched on the line. Rob Harvey has hit the post and had one touched on the line today. He can be a bit stiff at times. And Rob Harvey's 2 behinds take his career total to 166 goals, 173 behinds. In the meantime, at the other end, boys, Neitz versus Penny. The total of the tape is Neitz 1 disposal, Penny 0 disposals. And look, Penny, if he still doesn't have a touch at the end of the day and Neitz still has 1, we'll just about pin the votes.
Done his job. A la Mickey Martin, isn't he? Noble bangs it back inside 50. By the way, Harvey's had 9 disposals. Spent all of that time forward, I think, Gary, hasn't he?
Pretty well, the occasional foray into the midfield, but done most of his work forward to centre.
Rivers starting to just get a little bit of ball now. Robertson. Voss got him under it nicely. Heffernan. Del Santo fell. Heffernan kept his feet. And away he goes. Attacking move again. Green. Hudson got a hand there. In they go. They come from everywhere. And Ball's a little bit excited. And Brown's got the free for the Demons. Goes wide. Green couldn't mark. Would have been his 4th goal if he could have gone back and converted. Didn't get it. Hayes out of trouble. Saints.
So Lenny Hayes from defensive 50. He kicks it long, but it's all Demons out there. Bell, the new player, in front of Hamill. Hamill's done well to worry them out of it. He's done very well, Aaron Hamill. Great play. Had to beat 2 and did. Then wanted the free kick as well. He should just take the throw in because that was the winning position for the Saints when the ball was kicked down.
I wonder if he treated the nurses like that when he was getting his jab at the Epworth.
He says if you're the doctor, you'd want to make sure you hit the right spot, wouldn't you? Sorry, Mr. Hamill. We'll have to do that again. All right. Aaron Hamill, of course, having a local anaesthetic in his hip. That's what we're talking about. Before the game, about half an hour before the game at the Epworth Hospital. In the meantime, it's Green running through. Centre half forward. Clark closes. The long kick forward. They've got it again. Bruce. It's been Green to Bruce. Bruce to Green. Green to Bruce. Bruce to Green all game. Green has kicked 3 goals and Bruce is lining up a goal number 2. I tell you what. The golfing professional at Royal Melbourne, Bruce Green, he's never had as many calls as these 2 combining.
Great mates, Eddie, no doubt.
Yep. And in comes Cameron Bruce. They're waxing these 2. Bruce has got his 2nd.
Well, Brad Green just continues to have a sensational year, but again, the forwards, with this ball running, the forwards all run towards goal, which means that see Hudson there, he's back to the play. He's not watching the footy. That is great vision there of what we talk about. Cameron Bruce is the first to turn around and the first to react. So the run and bounce means that they all head back towards goal, which means the backman has to turn around. Kick drops short, forward reacts quickest, kicks a goal.
9-point lead to the Demons. They have kicked 5 goals to St Kilda's 3 in this 2nd quarter, and they've got the last 2. Green and Bruce consecutively. Out of the middle, Reid was tackled. Hayes goes in hard, but White said, no, you don't. And we'll force another ball up. 6.5 minutes remaining in the 2nd quarter. And the disposals, Luke Ball had a spell on the bench. 18 already in the game. Ben Holland unlikely with 12. Green, a dribbler around the corner. Del Santo was tunneled basketball style there. Voss to Penny. Penny around the corner. Found Blake. Black's already looking downfield to see what's on. He saw Thompson. Couldn't hit him with the ball though. Broadbridge. And Green. Slick hands. Nicholson. You like the build-up, don't you? Reid. Now Brown. The finish here is important. White. What about the combination here? McLean, a long driving ball. Play of the year. Oh, he's missed it. Holland almost had
missed. He missed it the first time.
It will be the play of the year if it were successful.
This goal umpire gets a lot of advice from the field umpire, doesn't he?
He does.
Schwartz sticking his 2 bobs worth in there.
Umpire,
Boy,
make a decision.
exciting stuff.
Yes, I think it's a correct one. I think it's a correct decision, Ryan.
You called it as you saw it, Gary.
Why did he play on? Let's have a look.
Again, the backman was turned around. There you go.
He
He
missed
missed
the
it.
ball.
I reckon the hand came onto the ball. We need another look at it. But why would you ever play on when you're in a marking situation that close to goal?
We'll get another look at it in a moment. Aussie Jones. Gee, Holland went from hero to villain. A split second. Hayes could be a turning point. Reed. Robertson looking for the free kick, gets it. Ball just pushed a little bit on the tackle. So Melbourne got a chance to have another go. Reload up. Good kick to Brown. Uze wobbles one forward. Hard one for Voss. It spills. Here's a chance for Holland to redeem himself. Good strong tackle by Penny. Oh, it's tough in there at the moment. Neitz wanted a victim. Voss got in the way. Will have a bounce. Here we go again.
This is the tackle. This is a big tackle too. Big leader.
Yeah, threw him onto Penny. Double whammy. Big pack around the play. We're 20 metres out, directly in front of the Demons goal. Picked up there by Holland. He grabbed that out of the ruck, so it's gone.
Good decision.
So free kick to Voss. Voss brings it out to Hutchton, who's on the run from defensive 40.
What's he got on? Rewalk down the ground. That's the direction he'll go. Now he's got Clark at his feet. Almost a strong mark. Clark stood in a strong position, didn't he? Didn't get past his handball turnover. Rivers, here they go. The excitement between Davey. Takes a bounce. Clark tries to run him down. He goes very wide. Bruce Miles. He's a capable kick, though. And Cam Bruce has got it from beyond the 50 line. He's already kicked 2 today. Gee, it's an exciting contest.
This is the sort of thing that Cameron Bruce spends many hours after training just mucking around trying to slot him from here, Brian.
To extend the lead to 16 points. Bruce comes in from 52 out. What a wonderful week! Got his third, Cam Bruce. Can you believe it?
You know, plays off practicing those sorts of things at training. He's got some talent. Bruce and Green and Bruce. Some good pressure here from the Melbourne forwards. Jared Rivers just working his way on top of Nick Revolt, which is something he probably hasn't had the supply, to be fair to Revolt. But the good thing about Rivers is he's not just content to sit back. He's pushing up and winning a bit of his own footy. And just a beautiful finish from Cameron Bruce.
So the Demons have kicked the last 3. Let's have a look at Holland again. And he missed it altogether. And
Hit the post.
His foot certainly hit the post.
I think the hand pushed it onto the post. Yeah, a bit of everything.
So there you go, a behind, but the Demons have rallied. Gary, you're mentioning that Nick Rewalt now finding it hard. Well, the Saints have not had it inside the forward 50 in the last 8 minutes of play.
Purely a supply thing, Ed, and the good thing about Jared Rivers, his new opponent, is he's not content to sit back. He's actually winning a bit of the footy himself.
Yeah, making it an offensive contest as well as a defensive contest. At the back is Bell, the first gamer. Does it well. To Heffernan now. Melbourne have got the momentum. They lead by 16 points. Heffernan's kick. Holland comes out. He's got it.
He's having a purple patch of a day, if you know what I mean.
Same type of mark as what he did. This time, though, he'll go back and have the kick. Last time he was 6 inches out. This time he's 50 metres.
7 marks. He's coming up for possession number 14.
Should have had 2 goals.
Yep.
And gets his chance to have that now. So Ben Holland, big kick to stretch the lead. For Melbourne out to 22 points from 50 metres out. It bends back. It bends back. There you go. Misses from 1 metre out. Kicks it from 50. His second.
I think I credited him with 7 marks instead of just the 3 marks, but he's having some sort of day. 7 kicks, 7 handballs, I should have said. But gee whiz, nice work from young Bell, first gamer. But he's just having a day out. Nick Holland at the moment cannot do a thing wrong, presenting well, working hard. He calmly goes back and slots at Ben Holland. Very good player, Ben.
The Demons have kicked the last 4 goals in a row. 2 minutes 58 left in the half. Blake in the middle. Saints battling to get it inside 50. Here's an opportunity for Rewalt. Couldn't mark. Ground level. Bell looking for Uze. Danger. Uze concedes. A wise choice.
Just that whole Rewalt thing has changed. And now the only way he's really getting the footy delivered to him is up the ground. If you perhaps give him a bit more space so he can work up, back or even sideways, he's a much more dangerous proposition. Melbourne have been able to take that away, and now all he's getting is ball delivered to him on the lead, and that makes it a lot harder.
Off a step, Uze kicks it 55 to White. Couldn't quite hold it. Nicholson did well. Released Reid. Reid now, long to Ward. Now wide, Walsh rather. Couldn't quite hold the mark. Picked up Ozzie Jones to Graham. Del Santo hasn't had the greatest of days. That's why.
And
every time he gets it, he's pounced.
Yeah, you've got to say the job Peter Walsh is doing with Ozzie Jones has been effective. 7 possessions to Jones. Walsh has had 6 as a half forward, a defensive half forward. And Heffernan on Del Santo also seems to be working. Del Santo 7 possessions.
And Park picked out a free kick against Neitz for over the shoulder. We'll come back to Blake. So Blake at half-back for St Kilda, not the 15, oh, not anything. Dribbled off his boot. Harvey was good enough to give it off to Black. Black from half-back to half-forward. Fisher nudged out of the way by Nicholson, who's done well after being exposed by Rewalt early in the first quarter, where he kicked 4 goals. Since then, Rewalt has kicked 1. And the St Kilda coaching box has got a bit to do.
I'd love that man in the back row to be sitting up there as well, Fraser Gehrig.
Ball up. Bruce. What a half he's had. Brown. The usual contributors. Vardy. There's a new name. And a fresh face with fresh legs. First touch of the day to him. Been on the pine. The kick to Brown wasn't good. Robertson's really been... Work ethic has been pretty good today. Nathan Brown over the top. Hasn't got a lot of it. Hatched it, free kick, go to Graham's way. So a minute left, and the Demons in control. Saints would love a goal before half-time. Hamill held by Broadbridge. And a free kick to Aaron Hamill on centre wing with under a minute.
Last chance for the Saints, possibly for the quarter. Black has got away, so too has this man, Robert Harvey. Has been very elusive today, Gary.
Yeah, 12 possessions, mainly as a floating forward, just to try and make that Melbourne defence a bit more accountable. The only problem is he's probably had a chance to kick, as you said earlier. He had 3 goals and he just let himself down a touch.
Well, he has got as close as you possibly can. He had 1 touch on the line and the other one hit the post. This one finds the middle, bends it from left to right, and Rob Harvey kicks a badly needed goal for St Kilda late in the second quarter.
Was badly needed too, because the gap had just opened up a little bit. You wouldn't want to go in at half-time over 20 points down against this Melbourne side who have been running out their games really well. So just got on his own. Black just dropped out the back of the pack and found a bit of room. And on this occasion, Rob Harvey kicked truly. So a very opportune time to score a goal.
The Robert Harvey goal gets the Saints within 15 points with just 20 seconds left on the clock. Their first goal since the 13-minute mark of this second quarter, and we're now in the 31st minute. St Kilda, can they force another one? Black, get the clearance and their chance. Graham just panicked a little bit under the situation or slipped. One or the other. Reid around the body, goes forward. Vardy and Voss wins out. So an exciting half of football. Had everything this game. Had some outstanding individual performances in the way of Rewalt. Some real good, tough football combined there as well. And we have got a cracking game here at half-time. St Kilda at the moment lead it by 15 points. Rewalt today has kicked 5 goals. Melbourne 11-3-69. St Kilda 8-6-54.
MCG. This is the Demons, 11-3-69, leading St Kilda 8-6-54. Let's head down the boundary with Jason McCartney for all of the latest injury news. Is it a pure round, Jace?
Yeah, thanks, Gary. Yes, Daniel Ward from Melbourne hasn't even reappeared after half-time, so that would say he won't be taking any further part. And also Matt Maguire has missed a few weeks with a groin complaint, and some of the work he was getting done during that second quarter, there's no doubt in my mind that he's struggling from a case of osteitis pubis. So they've got their problems there as well, mate.
Good on you, Jace. Thanks for that. Tracksuit pants on.
That's an interesting one, Gary. I was going to ask Jason whether he thought it was osteitis pubis or maybe just a groin strain, because there is quite a gulfing difference between the two. But a number of players, it's struck again at this time of the year. There's a number of players around the place who are really struggling with osteitis pubis at the moment. And the unfortunate thing is, if you take weeks off with it, it flares up again, and as we head towards September, you almost have to keep mobile. So it's a tough one for Matt Maguire and St Kilda.
He wouldn't be out there playing as a groin strain, you wouldn't think.
No, you wouldn't think so. So away we go in the second half of this enthralling competition today between St Kilda and Melbourne. An old-fashioned VFL game, if you like, today, as Heffernan just got his boot on board. No, umpire said he went round twice. That's long enough. Free kick to the Saints. So the skipper, Lenny Hayes, has it for St Kilda.
A bit more of a conventional forward setup for St Kilda now. Hayes back in the middle.
Looking for Hamill, punched away by Broadbridge. It was a very good punch. Xavier Clark, he's been quiet. Revolts has got it.
Now, he had the whole forward 50 there. Now, in that second quarter, there's every chance that that ball would have dropped on the head of another St Kilda player and his opponent, and Revolt would have ran into him. Because he's got so much space, he's able to run and lead his opponent into the footy. So,
and the other thing, Gary, is the kick didn't have to be pinpoint, did it? Just had to be in the vicinity. So here's a chance for Nick Revolt, who has kicked 5 goals so far in this game. Kicked 4 at this end in the first term. He now has 5 at this end and 6 for the day. Good shepherding by Milne. Quick reply from the Saints to open the third quarter.
Yes, it's so very important that you give him room. And that room doesn't only need to be in front of him. That room needs to be either side of him, but also behind him. So, just for instance, had Xavier Clark run around him and dodged and kicked to the square, Reebok could run back without running into someone else. So, you give him the room. 5 of his goals have come from marks. That would further encourage you to get that footy 2 in 1 out.
So Rewalt with his 6 goals, and 5 of Rewalt's 6 goals have come from marks. So dominant aerial display up there by Nick Rewalt in this game so far. St Kilda starting fast here, looking good. Del Santo involved through the midfield. Can't afford to turn it over. Noble has got the ball. Will look to kick it long. Here's Milne. He's on a lead, but he goes to Rewalt. He's going to have to jump over. There he goes! Boy, you just open it up, Gary, and you should one day become a coach.
Well,
there's a few asking that question at the moment, I believe, too.
I'd still be critical of Stephen Milne. Get out of there, Milne. I mean, that's not where you want Stephen Milne and his opponent. Get out, turn around and crumb the front and let this bloke jump at the footy 1 out.
This for Nick Revolt's best tally in football of goals in 1 match.
Just completely ignored the statement, Gary Lyon as well. Rewalt comes in for goal number 7. Saints have got 2 in a row in the third.
Well, he started the third quarter like he did the start of this game. Every time the footy goes down there, you would have your heart in your mouth if you're a Melbourne coach or on the match committee. He's so strong overhead. He's got a height advantage over young Jared Rivers. And once you get the ball up there and you're able to take the ball right above your head, then you're such a dangerous proposition. The only thing you'd be critical, as I said, would be Stephen Milne. And this is where Nick Revolt needs to assert himself. Get away from me.
Saints have kicked the last 3 goals of the game, 2 in 2 minutes in the third term. Revolt has kicked his 7th. His previous best was 6, round 22, 2002 against Melbourne. He loves playing the D's. In fact, he's now kicked 17 in 3 games against Melbourne. Short tried to crash through.
Yeah, he took him on there, didn't he?
Yep, and the free kick goes to Melbourne. Jeff White in the centre of the MCG, right in the middle of it.
Now, David Neitz, who's been very quiet.
Well, that kick Maybe a reason for his quietness. Gave him no chance. Davey actually plucked it out of the hand of Neitz on that occasion. Penny gets his first possession of the day. Neitz' opponent. Ball out wide. Johnston's been good today. Opens it up for Brown. Around the body he goes. Oh, the flame. The attempt by McLean. Couldn't quite get it. That's it in the back. Ball will take the free kick.
That's 50. And 50 from Robertson. I was going to say that Melbourne have scored 11 goals without a contribution from David Neitz at all. They'd have to start thinking about Neitz down to Revolt at the other end of the ground.
And they've been a bit lucky here. I think there's a blood rule as well. Now Bruce is going to come off. They've been a bit lucky there not to get the 50 against them.
Danaher's been reluctant to move Neitz defensively all year, though, Gary, hasn't he?
He has indeed, Brian. I guess your counter-argument would be, well, we've scored 11 goals with him down there. He might be drawing some attention else from other players, but...
The other thing is that a big, tall key forward, I mean, you get late in the game, and while he may not have had a touch, Gary, it's just quite likely in the last 10 minutes of a game he kicks 2 goals and wins you the game.
Which is exactly what happened against Collingwood a few weeks ago.
Yep.
But he was well held and then suddenly kicked the goals that were required at the end of the game.
The fact remains, though, the bloke at the other end, 7 on the board, and doesn't look like slowing down.
Well, Rewalt have kicked the first 2 goals of this third quarter, and it's back to a 3-point ball game in favour of the Demons. The run of Black from half-back. Kick needs to be precise. It wasn't. White kept it alive. Green just going backwards to find a bit of time to Holland, who's been impressive. Nicholson did well. Turn as good as I've ever seen him turn then, and got it to McLean. McLean just forward of the wing. Here it comes on the head of Neitz. He's going to have to jump over the top. Penny in front. Harvey did well to take it away. Jones thought about bringing it north side and then said no. I'll go to the south side with this one. Kicked it into open space and found Milne.
Milne twisting and turning, no one to kick to. That's why he did so. Graham ran past. And we'll be glad to see it over the line out of bounds. That was a good play from Stevie Milne.
Yep, did it really well. The only other player down the ground, or further ahead of him, was Revolt, who was back in the goal square. So played it well.
He was about 150 metres away. It seemed that anyway from where he was looking.
He was looking at the goals, Milne, you know.
Exactly. Centre wing, Hamill from behind. McDonald twisting and turning, opens up some space inside to Jeff White. Reed, White opens it up for Heffernan. Heffernan handballs forward to Reed, who kept running. It opens for Davey. Throw it up, Xavier Clark. Powell, Clark. Bang! Gone! Off the ground, Powell. A long kick forward. Revolts again. 2 against 1. Rivers. Revolts turn him inside out. Can he pick it up? Close to the boundary line. Milne wants it. He's screaming for it. He gets it. Revolts front back though. Revolts in the square if they can get it in. Fisher concedes some ground and goes to Aussie Jones. Jones now looks up. They've got 2 back on Revolt. Probably too far to score. Revolt led. Doubled back. He's in the square. Still 2 on 1. Jeff White waiting for the kick to come in as well, so it's really 3 on 1. So they chip it around the Saints to Milne, punched away by White, who did a fantastic position, zoning himself off to take on all opportunities, and won the day for Melbourne. Uze now takes it out wide to Johnson, twisting and turning, just got away. Now Heffernan under pressure. Oh, it's enormous out there at the moment. Davey concedes some ground to Uze, and Melbourne finally clear the zone.
Boy, what a pressure passage of play that was. St Kilda have come out fired up, Gary. They are applying enormous pressure.
They are, and Melbourne are dropping a player back at every opportunity. It was Uze, now it's Broadbridge to get into that hole to force the 2 on 1 with Revolt.
3 points down the Saints.
Which means there has to be a free player somewhere.
Noble, 70 from home. Here comes Rewald over the top, punched it down. Hit Hamill in the chin. Ball comes loose. And a boundary throw and attacking 50 Saints.
So the message now is there must be a free player somewhere. Let's make sure we've got nice wide vision here. Don't always look to Revolt.
Jeff White's had 18 hit-outs. The entire St Kilda side's had 18 for the day.
Boundary throw in. Deep in the St Kilda forward 50. White. Noble there as well. Brown wraps you up in the tackle. Jason McCartney at ground level.
Did you see this? Oh.
Yeah, BT, Cameron Bruce has just gone up the race and receiving some attention, probably stitches above the left eye at the moment.
Back into again, McLean. Milne spills out to McDonald. McDonald's high up and under, but Clark's back there for St Kilda. Flew against his teammate Schwartz. Probably should have called him on. And Robertson is away. Has 2 bouncers. 3 now. Running up to forward 60. Thumps it long up towards full forward. They've got it, the Demons. And Holland takes the mark. He's kicked 2 goals. One today will line up from 25 metres out on a slight angle.
Not sure where the St Kilda runner is, but would be very surprised if he wasn't making his way to Xavier Clark.
Yep.
I mean, he jumped on a 2-on-1, spoiled Del Santo, fell over and left Robertson standing, and this is the direct result of that.
Yeah, the player was coming back, Gary. You've really got to call them back, don't you?
Well, absolutely, and particularly when it's 2-on-1 like that.
So Ben Holland for goal number 3. And Melbourne's first of the term. Kick still, important goal to give Melbourne some breathing space. They lead by 9 points.
Well, it's his best game in Melbourne colours, you have to say, for Ben Holland. This is the one here. He's just spoiled him, and this is the reason he's coming off the interchange bench. That is just a cardinal sin. It's getting a bit excited with your own ability. It's forgetting the game plan and putting yourself ahead of the team.
You've got to take up coaching, Gary. You are just predicting everything so well. So the Demons get their first goal of the second half. Ben Holland with his third. That man there, Xavier Clark. Gary Lyne suggested he should have a message or come from the ground. That's exactly what happened, Gary.
You have to be a brain surgeon, Brian. You would have worked that out.
One day, Gary, I can see the day when you'll be sitting up there in that box, just issuing the instructions and barking on the occasion.
Going grey.
Nicholson wide. I believe there's been a few calls already. White goes wide. Robertson marks, plays on immediately. Here go the Demons. This is not a laughing matter as the Demons go forward again. Davey over the head, couldn't mark. Off hands, Holland. Chance to kick it. Davey, did he get a beat on it? Oh boy! Davey reckons he has. Umpire agrees. Demons 2 in a row. Love to see that.
I want to see that to see if it's hit above his knee. That's what could be the interesting one here. Let's have a look, boys.
Well, Ben Holland thought he was a shoo-in to get this, and Davey just came from absolutely nowhere.
No,
it's a drop kick.
Drop kick. That's the second one of the weekend. Employed on Friday night. And Davey, beautiful play.
Yes.
He started, it was like the back marker at the store gift.
Ben Holland was licking his lips at one stage.
He gave him 10 metres and still beat him.
Oh, he is quick. Ben Holland, he had that one marked in the book until he appeared from nowhere, Aaron Davey.
Well, Ben Holland gave him a 10-metre start and was run down. Out of the centre, White, who's been fantastic, to Reid now. Melbourne just skipping away to a 15-point lead, and Holland's got it again. Not even Davey could get in the way that time.
Well, he's doing it to David Neitz, is Ben Holland. He's effectively playing half forward, full forward. He's now, his statistics, I reckon he might even frame these because he's had 14 kicks. He's taken 5 marks, 6 handballs and kicked 3 goals.
Gordon Coventry was used in a grand final as a decoy full forward one time.
Sure,
it does work.
I'm sure Neitz quite agrees with it.
In 1930, doesn't matter, they won the flag. And here's the chance now for Holland to come in and kick his 3rd goal. 4th goal, in fact. He's got his number. He's kicked 4.
Oh, it's a fantastic effort. Now Grant Thomas has got to think, well, Luke Penny is my #1 man down there. He's doing the job on David Neitz to the point where David Neitz has yet to kick a goal and had only 2 disposals. Might have to swing him over to Ben Holland, who's just absolutely carving him up at the moment.
Gary, I don't know if you've been watching it from this with this angle in mind, but is Neitz getting out of the way for Holland? Is he playing as an actual decoy full forward?
He wasn't initially.
The Demons have kicked the last 3 goals. Holland's got 4 and they lead by 21 points. Harvey, Black out of the middle. Long driving ball. Milne's got to do it against a couple. Uze, off hands, Thompson. Did he have it? Umpire said play on, fair enough. Rewatch. Oh! Went for the squaring cross. Johnstone trying to keep it in. Ball up. Boundary thrown, in fact.
Not sure about the Heath Black kick on the way in. You had the full forward on the lead, elected to go long and ended up kicking to a 3-on-1.
Half kick. the last 3 of the game, the Demons, to equal the game-high margin of 21 points in their favour. Ball knocked down to Johnstone, who had a lot of space. Handball underground slightly to the first gamer in Bell. White always looks like he's pulling his kicks a bit. That's just the way he goes. There's Neitz, I think, for his second or third touch of the game. Third touch it is. Now the driving ball to Walsh. He backs up, he marks. Wonderful effort. Will he have the legs to go the journey here? Peter Walsh.
Neitz has come out to the true centre-forward position now.
Yeah, no, the last goal that Ben Holland kicked was from the full forward. He was playing full forward at that time and got it on the lead. So Neitz pushing out to probably in between half forward and centre half forward. Let's not forget Brad Miller not playing today as well. So it does mean that, you know, Ben Holland had to assume a lot more responsibility, and he's doing it well.
And that one goal last week against Adelaide was his only goal for the year. And here he is lining up for his second goal of season 2004. 48 metres out. Across the face. No one on the end of it, so behind there. Melbourne extend their lead with 10 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Demons have got the last 3 after St Kilda jumped out of the blocks in the third with 2 re-walk goals.
So Voss from fullback. Margin 22 points. Oof. Graham did well. Should have got one in the back. No, said the umpire. Play on. It's Bills to Neitz. He puts it back to Vardy, who releases Green on his favoured left boot, but he's turned this one over. Harvey wants to get the Saints running to Penny, to Ball. Ball now, long to Milne, out in front of Brown. Good play by Brown, brought it to ground. Milne backed it up. Fisher for St Kilda on hands and knees to Thompson, under pressure. Now the ball spills to Harvey, found a bit of space. Hamill's caught, back inside to Voss. No, it's tough in the clinches at the moment. McDonald finds a little bit of space. He puts it out front of Johnston. Johnston now just chips it forward to Davey, who can go all the way. Stepping onto the left boot, the bounce. Up to full forward. It's going to come off the Robertson. Hit the post.
Well, Aaron Davey should also get one of those messages, Brian, because that was lazy.
Just kicked the drop punt.
Well, he got to back his pace in. He should have taken Lenny Hayes on and straightened up and kicked just a drop punt, as you call it.
Robertson's hit the post twice today for his 2 behinds. We'll have a look at a shot at goal in the second quarter in a few minutes, boys, as well, from Rob Harvey, which was paid touched on the line. We'll have a closer look at it. In the meantime, Heffernan has it at forward 50.
The intercepting mark, so the Demons have come to life in the last 10 minutes or so. Short ball by Heffernan finds the Vardy target. And Vardy will line up for goal about 30 metres out, tough angle.
He's a dead eye, Peter Vardy. This is what he's paid for. To make something, he doesn't get enormous amount of the football, but he makes the most of his opportunities.
9 goals for the year in his 9 games. Vardy will come in and line up from about 35 metres out. He's got it bending the right way. He might have just bent it a little too much early, and a minor score there.
9 goals, 12 for the year for Peter Vardy.
He has had not an enormous amount of game time. He had, I think it was an Achilles tendon problem there for some time.
Now, let's see what the Saints can do. They've been troubled at this end of the ground. They've been under pressure. Jones finds the target in Hayes. He goes wide. The kick needs to be perfect. Just over the head of Del Santo. McDonald working hard to keep it alive. Goes to Bruce. He gathers the standing start. Pretty ordinary attempt by Cam Bruce over the line out of bounds. I think it might have been out of bounds on the full. And it'll be a Hayes free kick at half-back.
We'll have a look at this Rob Harvey goal in a moment. Next stop in play we have. It was called a point, of course, by the umpire on the line. We'll have a better look at it. So Lenny Hayes kicks up towards half-forward flank position. Thompson over the top. Ball taken over. Let's have a look at... it was early in the second quarter. This was the long kick forward. Did he get back?
Well, it's hard to say from that angle.
There we go. Oh, gee, I tell you what.
It looked a little bit over, didn't it?
Looked over from here. Yeah.
Tough angle for us to judge, but on that angle, it looks over, doesn't
It
it?
was a long way in his jump. Anyway, that was Peter behind. Let's get back to the action now. And David Neitz has it on centre wing for the Melbourne Football Club. The captain. coming to life in this third term, having been moved to centre-half forward. Kicks it high up in the air towards Holland, who was pushed out of the contest, marked by Penny. Umpire calls play on. The Saints need to get the next goal to stay in this game. Blake has got it just backward of centre. Handball's off to Del Santo. Del Santo now swings around. Revolt's got clear. The kick is in his direction. Out he comes. Milne got out of the way. Needed to get out of the way, but Revolt's got it. Turns around, has a flying shot. This one is offline. Now, Gary, Revolt had that if Milne wasn't there.
Exactly right. He would have got there and would have made it. And the way he's been kicking for goal, I think he's got 7 straight.
7-1 now.
7-1 now.
Just not playing the team game at the moment. Steve Milne, I don't reckon, in reference to Rewalt, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Swartz, get out and give him some space. He's won it all day. Heffernan and Swartz go at it. So the bench is looking on in the background. Eventually Vardy came through. Give me a go. Harvey, Jones, combination good wide. Fisher, free kick. Against Nicholson. Advantage paid. Hamill able to run. Right on the boundary line. There's a look at it. And here's Rewalt. Kick just over the head. Now the opportunity for the ground level forwards to come in.
What would you be telling him if you were full forward, Brian?
Well, I wouldn't tell him. I'd just go through.
You'd pick him up by the throat and shake him.
Well, you would be quite...
You would have just kept going in that situation?
Well, you'd just be abusive. That didn't work, then you'd be physical.
That's to your teammate we're talking about. Bruce gets it on to White. This is a big play for the Demons. This could be the match-winning play. As Heffernan marks inside 50. Chips over the top. Vardy can stroll into a goal here. And does, and kicks his first. And with 6 minutes left on the clock in the third term, the Demons are out to a 28-point lead.
Yes, and Stephen Milne, you're a genius, Brian. Don't you worry about anyone else. He's off. Getting into the wrong spots and standing in the way and perhaps not thinking team instead of himself. Vardy's come on, he's a dead-eye. Tell you what else the Saints have to do, and that is put some work into Jeff White. He has just been given far too much latitude and room to move. He wouldn't have had anyone uncontested possession for Jeff White. It'd be scary, I would imagine.
There's Stevie Milne having a bit of a spell just to get him out of the way of Rewalt for a moment, and he probably would have had a spell anyway.
Well, it's the most effective way to get him out of the space. Yep. Take him off.
A 28-point game-high lead to the Demons in this third quarter. Dark clouds looming. I don't think they'll arrive before the end of this game. Reed out of the middle. Here's Davey. Clean hands. Look at it. Smooth. Silky. Retreated a long way. Centering ball wasn't great. White had trouble. Through they come. Pow. Will go to centre-half forward. Over the head. Rewalt a chance. Beautiful knock on Hamill. Hamill need to get rid of it quick. Didn't. Thompson now's got to get rid of it. Might have been the throw before that. It was against Aaron Hamill. And Jared Rivers.
Just on Jeff White, 12 of 19 possessions he's had have been uncontested. Now, if you wanted to come back as a player, wouldn't you love to be just a ruckman that can sit there and take uncontested posies? He would be racking up Brownlow medal votes again today.
And playing through the corridor too, Gary, so setting them up with those uncontested possessions.
It's incredible that they haven't gone and sat someone on him.
Uze kicks it out wide, and that's good play by Robertson. He worked and worked and worked to present an option and ran right to the wing to mark. 10th possession coming up for Robbo, who sits it up high towards his tall teammates there. Off hands, McLean. Gee, looks like a ready-made footballer, this boy. Up it goes again. Another chance for Johnstone, who's got it. And I'll tell you what, the class players in the Melbourne side today, Gary, have really lifted. Johnson's been one who's been tantalising for a number of seasons. He's been very good today.
Well, this is one of the bonuses. I think there was a conversation not long ago that said that Melbourne had no players they could introduce back into the side other than Bizzle. Well, how quickly they forget Travis Johnstone, who is one of the most talented blokes running around. He's just got to get some consistency.
15th possession to really put the first nail into St Kilda's coffin today. And he puts it through.
Look, they've been very, very patient with him this year too, Travis Johnstone. He's had some injury problems, so they just let him work his way through them. He's only played 9 games for the year. They gave him a longer spell than they've had. That's a great tackle. And he had to come back through Sandringham. He played that game last week, I think it was last week, and played well. And now here he is back in this side. And he might just be the icing on the cake as the Demons head towards September.
A 34-point lead to the Demons with 4.25 minutes remaining in the third quarter. They've kicked the last 5 goals straight. Ball of St Kilda out of the middle to Rewalt. Marks.
He's single-handedly keeping them in this contest. Now, Stephen, that's the reason why you're probably there, young fellow. Had he been out there, he might have even got the way of that. And that's not being smart. That's just the reality of the last couple of times the ball had gone down there.
Rewalt for goal number 8, Gary. From 30 metres out, he steers it through. That is a goal, I would think. He likes it. Umpire's got to agree, of course, it's there. They needed that one, the Saints.
It's a super performance, Brian. 8 goals out of 11 into the third quarter. His side have been, Luke Ball's been the other star for the Saints. The two of them kept them in this contest. Otherwise, they could have got blown out of the water. And while he's there and he's still able to do that, then you wouldn't write them off completely. 3 goals in this third quarter, Garth. His 4 first quarter goals.
St Kilda kicked 3 goals this term. Nick Rewalt has kicked 3 goals this term.
Yeah.
And that ended a run of 5 in a row to Melbourne. St Kilda with 3.5 on the clock. They've got to get another one. Milne's on, he owes. Brown did well.
Straight back in the hole, Ed.
Why would you position yourself right there?
Free kick in the meantime going St Kilda's way. Go, Gary.
Exactly. Hang on, let's play.
We'll come back to it. Aussie played on. The X-Man, Xavier Clark, on hands and knees. Today's a scrap. There's no need for finessing or being smart out there. St Kilda just rolled the dice a little bit too early on that occasion. Oh, look at that. The bodies are throwing in left, right and centre. That's tough. It's a tough, hard game out there today. Ball up.
Good umpire.
55 metres out. Umpire's been fantastic today. Gary, tell us again about that situation.
Well, quick kick out of the middle. Exactly what you want. You think, right, Nick Rewalt's going to either contest this or lead his man to the contest, and it sits on the head of Stephen Milne, who is standing right where he shouldn't be.
Powell was unlucky not to get a free kick. We'll have another bounce.
Now they've dropped Troy Broadbridge back in the hole.
So if we get a wide shot just to the goal square as well, you'll see Milne has positioned himself in front of Rewalt, Gary.
Now that's not so bad because Troy Broadbridge is there as well. So you need to have someone to contest if it's a mongrel kick.
No, it's no good, Gary.
But if he was not there, Broadbridge, then he has to get away.
Okay, he's got away now, and here's a chance for Black to go long to Rewalt. Here's the contest. Rewalt got him turned over. He's being held. Should have got the free kick. Didn't. Play on, says the umpire. Johnstone is there. Handballs. Still a chance for the Saints, though. Shinned out of the way there by Uze. That was good play. They cleared the zone. We'll have another throw in. Oh, hello. That was dangerous.
Brad Green made it look a little better than it was.
Throw in. Under 2 minutes left on the clock, Brian. Saints desperately need one right now.
One more would make it very interesting as we go to the last quarter, Ed. No doubt about it. Well, the Saints have got it at their forward end of the ground. McLean going nowhere out of that one. The double tackle applied by the Saints. Well, that middle part of the quarter from the 9-minute mark to the 23-minute mark, Melbourne kicked 5 straight goals, and other than that, St Kilda were good at the start and they've been pretty good at the end of this quarter, but Rewalt, their only goal kicker, 3 in the quarter. McLean trying to get it out off the bottom. Godfrey there. And I think the Saints may be up against it to score another one in this quarter.
Gary, just have a look at the centre clearance from before. Just take us through why you thought there was a problem.
There's the quick kick. Now that football should be going, and Andrew Thompson, the other player, if that ball bounces there instead of lands on those two players' heads, well, you back Nick Rewalt to get there first to make something happen. There had it been another 5 metres, he wouldn't have been able to run at it and attempt to mark it because already there are 2 St Kilda players there with their opponents. When you've got a bloke as white hot, red hot, and you stopped it right there. I mean, that's dropped on the head of 4 players. That's not what you want your forward line set up to be. That's where you want Rewalt to be able to get to 1 out.
Some big black clouds are coming from the south to the MCG as Heffernan races away from the scene. Kicks a high ball over the top. Huston was good. Robertson, clean. Handling needed. Black there. Had to get rid of it. Would have been ping. Boundary line. A good result for St Kilda with 40 seconds remaining in the quarter.
Well, 40 seconds means there's still time for either side to score here. If Melbourne can kick a goal, that would set them up absolutely beautifully for a big win here today at the MCG. 28 points the difference. Here's the chance for the D's as Robertson thumps it forward. McLean is there. There's McLean. There's the goal. That could well be the match just before three-quarter time.
They're a good side. The Demons are a very good side. They work hard. They've been very good around the stop plays. They continually keep the pressure on by rotating good players through the midfield. Yeah, McLean sat on the bench a fair bit. That's all you need, just a quick kick out. I reckon Walsh's job on Jones has been terrific as well. Hasn't allowed him to run up the ground and create. And McLean runs onto the ball.
A 6-3 goal quarter for the Demons, and they led it by 34 points with under 30 seconds remaining on the clock in the middle. Ball. Harvey. Black can drive them in for one last opportunity. He's going very wide. Now the kick straightens. Riewoldt will get it. He's within range. 10 seconds. Nick Riewoldt over the top. Need a mark here. Didn't attack the ball. Uze went at it. Golden opportunity squandered by the Saints. Oh no. 34-point lead to the Demons at three-quarter time. And Riewoldt had an opportunity.
Well, you have to go and have a talk with Brian about the full forwards club because he's got 8 on the board. The two players that were leading into some traffic go back and kick the goal. 34 points the margin in favour of the Saints. The Demons 108-74. The MCG, the lights are on here, getting a little bit dark. I don't think we'll see any rain in the last quarter. Certainly the Saints wouldn't want to see rain. They are trailing at the moment, 17-6, 108 the Demons. The Saints 11-8, 74. Nick Riewoldt has been the one shining light with 8 goals at the moment. Grant Thomas just trying to swing some changes around to try and get some drive through the middle for the St Kilda Footy Club. We can head down the boundary with Jason McCartney.
Thanks, Gary. Yes, the game has been played at a frantic pace today, and at three-quarter time there, both sides, 3 or 4 players from each side getting the rub down on the legs. So they'll be looking to run the game out strong. Now, Terry Danaher spent a fair bit of time with the forwards for St Kilda. I think the main message was there, get out of Riewoldt's road.
Yes, not too hard, Jace, that's for sure. Let's get up to speed with 2 of the other games going on around the country. If you don't want to know the scores, we've got some progressives and some final scores. Go away now. Well, Jason and Brian and Eddie, there he is, Nick Riewoldt. Now, no Fraser Gehrig at the moment, of course, suspended. Riewoldt going down to the goal square. I mean, he is a potential 100-goal-a-year full forward if you can afford to play him there. Yeah, poor old Stevie Baker, who copped an errant backhander from Russell Robertson, hasn't seen too much action since.
All right. So the Riewoldt full forward experiment, Gary. Give that the thumbs up today, no doubt.
Absolutely.
All right, more on that from Gary. He's got some thoughts, some interesting thoughts.
Fraser get back in, will he?
Well, we'll talk about that in a moment. Here's a chance for Thompson. Out to Aussie Jones. They have to get a goal here. Well, there he is. So Nick Riewoldt lining up for goal number 8.
I'll just remind our viewers of a round 4 1987 game here at the MCG. A guy called Anthony Lockett kicked 12 goals out of 14 against Melbourne, and the Saints still lost. So a sense of deja vu here.
This is goal number 9. I correct myself. Goal number 9 if you can kick this. So Nick Rewald comes in for his 9th goal and puts it right through the middle. A great individual performance. The Saints get the first in the last term.
It's a stunning performance. 9 goals out of 12.
If they got up and won from here, St Kilda, and Rewald's kicked 10 at the end of the game, have to be one of the greatest individual performances in a game, wouldn't it?
Well, absolutely, no doubt, but...
Gary Ablett, of course, kicked 11 against Essendon that time when they were beaten.
Yeah, and Paul Salmon kicked 14, did he, that same day?
Oh, sorry, it's the other way around. 14-11, yeah. Sorry, kicked 14.
Rewald, goal number 9 within 28 points. The Saints, can they keep it going out of the middle? Del Santo with a clearance. They need more of those. Brookridge marks. Wants to play on. Moves the ball quickly forward. Not that directly, though, and Black has got on the end of it to mark in front of Russell Robertson. Now, Black can go wide. Harvey was out there by himself for quite a while. He ignored that.
By the way, the 9 goals is the equal 2nd best result for a St Kilda player against Melbourne, equaling Nicky Winmar and Tony Lockett. Tony Lockett with 12, Gary, in that famous game you've been talking about during the day, the best ever.
Hamill, free kick, golden opportunity here. Hamill looking for something, looking for Rewald. He comes up the corridor, strong chance to mark, almost had it on the chest. Off hands, Harvey comes in for a little chipper over the top. Oh boy, just missed.
Yes, and Ed, you've been talking about that all afternoon as well, and as great a man as Robert Harvey is, that is a very disappointing miss at a critical time in this game.
Yeah, feels the pain as well. 1 goal, 3 to Rob Harvey. 1 was a bit touch and go, touched on the line.
They've got to make their move early, don't they? And that's why that's a disappointing miss. If they get a chance to win, they've got to drag this back to under 20 points as quickly as they can.
Would have been 2 in a minute. They've got a chance now. Ball, chips it forward, bends it back. Not enough. Rewald's up high, but punched through by Broadbridge. So another rush behind. So the Saints peppering the goals. Have kicked 1 goal, 2. They desperately need more goals, though. Obviously, 26 points the difference. They get the next 2. It's right on.
Johnston. So Melbourne under enormous pressure at the opening part of this final quarter to retain their lead.
Bruce and Green just gone out of it a bit bright.
They have indeed. They had lots, 22 disposals between them and 6 goals in the first half. Gary, haven't seen much of them since. They will need to lift. Be interesting to get their stats for that 3rd quarter, Gary. As Robertson sets up Walsh, now backwards to McDonald. The driving kick high. Holland's been a danger all day. Hutchison's got his measure. Off hands Davey. Couldn't handle it cleanly. Now Robertson comes in. Don't argue on Clark. Ball wide. Holland kept it alive. Davey went through. He was always going to struggle to get through that traffic. And Del Santo dealt him a pretty tough tackle. And a ball up.
Well, that's a very good statistic for Melbourne supporters. They haven't dropped one when leading at 3-quarter time, but you wouldn't want this St Kilda side to get some momentum up early in this last quarter. You know, they've got some talented players. They've got a winning forward who's in just a sensational touch. And they've still got blokes like Milne that can bob up with 1 or 2 quick ones.
Tell you what, Penny's hurt himself here. He is in trouble. Luke Penny.
21 times in the history of football has a player kicked 10 goals or more in a losing game. The most being that 14-7 by Gary Ablett back in 1993 against Essendon here at the MCG. What a day that was.
There's Luke Penny. He's in real trouble there. And we asked about Bruce and Green, Gary. Just 5 disposals between them in that 3rd quarter.
It really dried up. They didn't get any of that run through the middle of the ground and certainly weren't dangerous up forward. So they've just got to get on their bikes again and get busy.
Penny's going to have to come from the ground here, I think.
Just looking at the record books as we wait for this, Gary Ablett in 1993, 3 times kicked swags of 10 or more in losing games.
It could tell you something too.
14, 11 and 10. There you go. Ball brings it to ground.
Yeah.
We'll have another bounce.
Luke Penny has been hobbling off slowly. He's just got to come straight to the boundary, you imagine. Which I know would preclude him from the rest of the game, but it doesn't look like he's about to make his way back. And now, all the while, they're a player down.
More importantly than that, of course, the player who's loose is David Neitz.
Well, he will have been manned up, then, you would imagine, but up the other end of the ground.
Well, Neitz got right into the action. Davey out to Green. Robertson off the ground. Robertson! Euro 2004. What a goal. His first. Second.
Well, he's mercurial, Russell Robertson. His work rate, Brian, you've loved the way he's worked today.
I have indeed. He's done the things that he doesn't normally do, I guess, a lot. Although you could probably say he has this year, and that is the 1%ers, Gary, ground level, just battled on like that, made something out of nothing. He's done it all day.
Yep, 14 possessions, 2 goals for Russell Robertson.
Russell Robertson kicking his second goal just gives Melbourne a little bit of leeway as we head into the middle part of this final quarter. The ball, Penny's off the ground, their key defender. He looks gone for the day. Robertson out of the middle. Kick, very workmanlike today, Russell Robertson. Holland, White, set up, Trapper, Johnstone. In he goes for goal number 3. Handball over the top to Neitz. And Neitz has got his first goal of the day, deep into the final quarter.
Jeff White out of the middle again. Bit of class from Johnstone. Ben Holland, who's worked really well at centre-half forward and full forward. White following on his work from the centre. Sensational. And then Neitz, who's had a pretty quiet afternoon. He slots through his first for the day. So they continue to kick big scores, Melbourne. 19 goals and win, well, not win, but certainly put themselves into winning games without a big contribution from David Neitz. Thank you, Brian.
Neitz gets his first for the game, set up by Johnson. And the all-important opening of this quarter has been won by Melbourne. And away they go again through Cameron Bruce. Up towards Holland, who's had a wonderful afternoon. Does it beautifully. Beats Fisher, gets boot the ball up towards Neitz. White going through as well. The little tap on was nearly deft enough. Off the ground, Brad Green. Loves to left foot. Handball's back. Under pressure, Robertson keeps his feet. Little drop kick out. Picked up by Ball to Hayes. Powell. Still under pressure, St Kilda. Powell had to come back on his left boot. Nicholson from behind can thump it forward. Just got a bit of skin on that one. Win again. Clark there. That's McDonald for Melbourne with the ball. He's tackled and thrown to the ground. We'll have a ball up right on centre wing. Jeff White, by the way, 20 disposals, 23 hit-outs and 6 clearances. Jason McCartney's on the boundary.
Yeah, looked like Luke Penny's in a fair bit of trouble. He got a knock to the knee, but he's clutching his right hamstring, so we mightn't see any further part from him.
38-point lead to the Demons. Just about there, you would think now. Reid trying to gain possession in front of Aussie Jones. Jones did well. Welsh arrives late. Hamill, been quite ish today, Aaron Hamill, with 9 disposals.
Yeah, no doubt he's carrying that injury, that hip injury that he had the injection prior to the game from Networth Hospital, we were told, by Doc Larkins. These are some of the key matchups. Xavier Clark just learning the defensive side of footy.
Clark, Hayes, clever. Powell, didn't quite make it work. Gee, McDonald's handball's almost throwish. Doesn't matter, comes back indeed to Fisher. Up they fly. Thompson couldn't grab it. Free kick will be paid. It'll go St Kilda's way, I think. Thompson's got it now. He can go to Rewalt 1 out. He offers the lead. Brian couldn't break away from Rivers.
Nicholson back in the hole too, Brian, making it very difficult.
Have a look at in the background there. You can see Rewalt working hard. Thompson centering ball, risky to Noble. He'll mark. And he'll just give Rewalt the option of going both ways now. And that's the direction he goes. Got to beat a couple, Nick. Couldn't. So he just punched away, did the right thing defensively. Bruce, through heavy traffic. Walsh, tidy up at the back. Brown. Melbourne beautifully out of trouble.
Jeff White again, Gary. Uncontested possession.
Well, they just got to man up on him. He's too athletic for Noble.
Heffernan to Johnson was champagne football. Johnson now. Beautiful kick to McLean. McLean kicks forward. Cam Bruce is there. He's got it. This is going to be the icing on the cake. Cameron Bruce has kicked 3 goals, but that was just magnificent football. A couple of maligned players for this Melbourne side. Heffernan and Johnson combining. Gary and Jay. just that little touch of class. Look at this. Look at the little handball away here. Oh, well, there you go. No wonder it was so quick.
A modern-day handball there.
Yeah, been good. Heffernan's been good. Done the job on Del Santo very effectively. And Travis Johnstone also had a very good afternoon.
Well, Green has kicked 3. Cameron Bruce has kicked 3. Good mates. So Bruce would want to kick the 4 to have the edge.
Gee, he was just moving that ball all over the place, wasn't he?
He really was. He didn't get his line at all. Kicked around the ball rather than through it, so it's a behind. Cam Bruce's first blemish on the scoreboard. He's kicked 3 goals, 1 now. But the Demons are 39 points in front and headed to a memorable victory here at the MCG.
They are. Good crowding today, too, in excess of 40,000 here today to watch these 2 top 4 teams go at it. Johnston around on the left. Holland has just been unbeatable in the air for most of the day. It has been a highlight up forward. Kicked 4 goals. This one he sends to the square. Robertson! Offhands Neitz goal. He's second.
Well, the big positive to come out of this today is Ben Holland's form. He has just absolutely slayed him across half forward and also full forward. Neitz hitting a couple in just to make the old Coleman medal race a little bit more interesting. He's still up there in contention, but Ben Holland's performance at half forward, 18 possessions. He's taken 6 marks and kicked 4 goals.
Demons have kicked the last 3 goals of the match after a promising start, and the Saints fans are headed for home because Melbourne lead by 44 points at the MCG. Graham, who's shown a bit today, to Harvey. Melbourne got the numbers now. It is all their play as Brown finds Johnson.
Elsie Nicholson's loose across half-back. Now, I know the game is beyond St Kilda at the moment, but you'd still want to send someone down to match him up and give Revolt every chance.
There is Nicholson. Brings the ball to Broadbridge. Up the field, look at this. Just missed Green. Magnificent play, they got it to Reed. Slaps it on the boot, high up and under. Ball went hard, so too did Black. And he's going to come straight back. They've got the numbers again. There's your man, Gary. All on his own. Jeff White sets it up for Uze. Can run all the way here. Kicks a torpedo right to the line. But getting across with Shorts in front of Neitz to take the mark.
Well, we've got the play cam on Jeff White, and I'd love to get it and show someone from St Kilda just what he'd been doing all afternoon.
Been a single shot all day.
Well, he's been wandering around on his own, carving up the opposition.
Tipping he'll get a phone call from...
Well, Gary, if you apply for a job, you'll be able to show someone one day how it should be done. Kick out wide.
He doesn't apply.
You know, it's easy up here, Brian. It looks very easy.
They make appointments to go and see Gary these days.
Thank you, you too.
I'm sitting between these 2.
Bring you along as a goal-kicking coach, would I, Brian?
Oh, yes.
Don't worry about that, Gary. Hey, he was in during the week on the Sunday Footy Show set in the middle chair practicing.
Centering
That's
ball.
why he's pushing up for the coaching position. Don't worry about that.
The centre we get to you, the better, Gary. Only joking. In the middle, Vardy just come on the ground. Aaron Davey having a spell. Robertson. Been a great win here by the Demons today. They have been pressured at various stages throughout the day. Milne will mark forward for the Saints. A long way from home. That was almost play on. Surely he ran off the line there, umpire. Dean Margetts has paid 6 frees today, Gary. All to St Kilda. Did you know that?
No, I didn't, but I think the umpires have been very good.
They haven't indeed. Ball knocked to ground. Picked up by Ball. Went nowhere. In fact, he's paid 8 and they've all gone to St Kilda.
You've got to ask the question about the Saints now. 54,409 people here. They, 4 or 5 weeks ago, were premiership favourites, and now they have slipped. They've probably gone behind Melbourne, particularly given what we've seen today.
But let's be honest, people go a bit early in the media these days.
Yeah, but they were, absolutely decimating sides.
They have lost 4 of their last 5 games, St Kilda. Their only win coming against Hawthorn.
Hamill.
Kick forward.
Was that a goal? I think he's got it. Aaron Hamill on the left boot's kicked it. Well, Gary, the injuries have been significant. I mean, Hamill, we know, had a a jab in his hip before the game. Well, you don't do that unless you really need it.
I wouldn't be worried about that too much. There's probably 3 or 4 Melbourne blokes who have had jabs. The more significant ones are Guerra and Gehrig not playing, of course, due to suspension. But they've got a lot of work to do. They're down, they're flat, their midfield isn't as potent as it was.
And another interrupted week during the season, during the week. So here we go, the last 8.25 minutes of what has been an enthralling contest, and Melbourne have answered every question that St Kilda have put to them this afternoon. This man has been a revelation. Number 4, Ben Holland. He's got it again. Was he pushed in the back? No, umpire let it go. Good play. Out to Walsh. We're going to get another one here. Peter Vardy strolls in to kick goal number 2. It is a wrap at the MCG for the Demons.
It's a very, very good-looking scoreboard. That's what it is. 21 goals, 7 to the Demons. They've got their kicking for goals been exceptional, but that's probably the fact that they played the corridor. Very lucky they're not to get a free, the Saints, to be honest, but they've kept it in the middle. They've brought it back in the middle as often as they possibly can. And they've got a very good spread of goal kickers, the Demons. They are on the march. They will cause some heartache come September.
Demons just doing it easy now with just under 8 minutes remaining in the game here in front of 54,409. Phil Reid out of the middle, of the former Eagle. McLean keeping it going the Demons' way. This man's been good today. Johnstone. Handball out in front of White. Black had to go at it. Neitz was there, all the big thumpers. White went in for the side of Green. Wanted the 1-2. Neitz said no. I want a bit of the action. Missed.
Significantly today, Gary, this win for Melbourne means they have kicked 2 games clear in 4th spot, and it's equal as far as points concerned. 1, 2, 3, 4. St Kilda, Brisbane, Port Adelaide, Melbourne.
Well, right now it's a 46-point lead against the side sitting on top of the ladder. I reckon Neil Danaher would take that every single time.
Wow. Thompson makes for a very interesting, as presumably, of course, Brisbane and Port Adelaide victories today. St Kilda, Brisbane, Port Adelaide, Melbourne will be on 44 points, with Geelong on 36, Essendon 36, Sydney 36, the Kangaroos in 8th spot on 32%, separating Fremantle with West Coast a further game behind, and that's about it, you'd think, for the race for the finals from here.
You'd think so, and let's not forget it, this is Melbourne's next 4, so the Western Bulldogs and the Tigers and the Hawks. There are the bottom 3 sides, I think, coming up.
Well, people forget, Gary, that the draw is weighted on where you are at round 15 in a season. And Melbourne last year struggled, so they get the benefit of a very good draw. I know their president came out and said it was the draw from hell at the start of the year. I'm tipping his footy department didn't say that at the time.
Yeah, well, and then you also, what you don't know is Hawthorn. You wouldn't have thought Hawthorn was an easy game at the start of the year or when the draw came out, and nor the Tigers for that matter, but they happen to be 2 sides that are struggling. And
Saints have maybe got a bit of respite next week, but after that, Bombers and a hungry Geelong. No easy games in this competition anymore.
Miller, of course, a late withdrawal from Melbourne, so he's to come back into this side. Matthew Whelan as well is one of their best small defenders, so they've still got a bit of improvement to do.
Another head clash. Gary, I think the most meritorious part about Melbourne's play today, or the thing to really get excited, is some of the players who can really give you that premiership spark. You need to have some genuine class.
Yep.
And Johnstone today, you know, even Vardy finding some form. This bloke, Bruce, has been great. Green, as Godfrey kicks forward. They've done it without Neitz.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. They've got 21 goals on the board, and David Neitz has barely fired a shot.
Broadbridge again. So they've been disciplined, and the other thing is they've had options. When Nicholson was exposed early on, Rivers has gone back, and while Revolt has kicked 9 goals and has been a sensational player, they're still going to run away convincing 44-point victors at least.
Yeah.
They are indeed. It's the 6th time this year, Gary, the Demons have kicked over 100 points, so scoring's not a problem for them. McLean from 60. Neitz backs in. Hudson timely last line of defence mark. Casually gives off to Black, who ran around the corner. Thompson and Johnston go at it. To Hayes. Kept it in. Didn't really want to keep it in. Bruce arguing for the out of bounds and the full and won it.
Hasn't been the same any Hayes since he was started on the interchange bench a few weeks ago, or a month ago.
You claiming that that was the reason he hasn't gone on and done well. It's upset his confidence, Gary.
Maybe he's carrying injury.
Well, that's the thing you don't know, but he just certainly was one of the Brownlow medal favourites early in the season and hasn't been able to recapture that form.
And that's the other thing, some good strong play there from Godfrey and Nicholson.
There's competition for spots too in the side, which was always a very healthy place to be.
46-point lead for the Demons at the moment, deep into this last quarter. Just 5 1/4 minutes remaining. And Melbourne will go on and record a very good victory here today. Their 4th of their last 5 games. A loss last week, of course, to Adelaide by 72 points. Got the Bulldogs, Richmond, Hawthorn and Port over the next month. The Melbourne Footy Club. And we've got a ball up with 5 minutes remaining. Godfrey. Couple of withdrawals, 2 today. Whelan and Miller, as Gary has mentioned, have pulled out. Whelan to come back into that back pocket. Rewalt been outstanding today. Kicked 9 goals. I reckon they'll try and help him to his 10th here as Powell scraps for it at ground level. Rewalt somehow got it out of real heavy traffic. Milne, a little uncertain there. And a ball up.
Well, the other thing for the Saints, of course, is this record away from the Telstra Dome gets worse and worse. Whereas the Demons love playing at the MCG, obviously, but I think when we have a look at the stats, and you'll find that they have really battled away from the Dome.
This year, Gary, you talking about or in general?
Well, let me just have a look.
So you have a look, Gary, let me know.
Carry on.
Use my stat sheet. As Walsh through the middle of the ground. Handballs over the top to Vardy. Cameo rolls off the bench to the lead of Neitz. Neitz has kicked 2. All of those have come late in the game. In fact, in this last quarter.
Sorry, Ryan, just doing the stats. 1-2 lost 4 away from the Dome this year. Still working on the record at the Dome.
David Neitz, distance won't be a problem. Got 2 all in this last quarter. From right on 50, lets it rip. Beautiful, wasn't it? Off the boot, look at that. Goal umpire didn't even move.
Gone 65 metres.
Sweet of Neitz.
He hadn't had a sniff 4 minutes ago, and now he's just put through the lazy 3 just to keep the averages up. Been pretty well, and not surprisingly, I suppose, when Luke Penny had done such a good job on him, he came off the ground with that knee come hamstring injury. Neitz, he's broke the shackles. So 3 goals to Neitz. They've had 10 separate goal scorers. Not today.
Well, it has turned out to be an absolute belting here at the MCG. What had been an enthralling contest early on, remembering that it was only 15 points of difference at half-time. And in fact, look at this. White, St Kilda came back really well, kicked 3 goals. Kicked the first 2 goals of the 3rd term, boys. It was only a 3-point ball game. So from the 9.5-minute mark of the 3rd quarter, Melbourne have absolutely dominated. Off hands. Brown and Green. Bruce. Ball spills out. Ball, who was great early on, kicks to the centre of the ground. It's a very strong mark taken there by Voss. They'll kick 3 goals St Kilda since that moment in time when they got within 3 points. Rewalt, who's kicked 9 for the day. Great tackle by Rivers, or was it a high tackle? A high tackle. And Aaron Hamill, obviously feeling the discomfort of that hip injury.
So it's some sort of a white singlet type thing underneath, which we're not sure what that would be, but rest assured it's not to keep him warm.
It's not a Spencer.
No, it's not a Spencer. So that would be for some sort of an injury reason as well.
Yeah, look, he's no wonder the way he plays his foot.
Yeah.
He's kicked 1, Aaron Hamill, just to save a bit of the face. They're 52 points down, the Saints. They're 51 points down, the Saints.
Just continuing on the Telstra Dome team, they've won 9 from 9 at the Dome, Brian. Then they have won 2 from 6 away.
1 goal through to Aaron Hamill.
Bit of a Dome theory in that then, isn't there?
Any substance to my theory?
Got a bit there, Gaz.
Thank you, big man.
Just give me my stuff back now. Marks, defensive 50. Getting down to the 2-minute mark now. 51-point lead of the Demons. Broadbridge, one of the unsung heroes. Let's have a look at this. The 2 Danaher brothers working side by side in opposing boxes. Terry Danaher, of course, in the Saints box. You can see just to the left there, and Neil, just 3 or 4 metres separation. That void there, Ed.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Better eyes than me, Brian.
I was going to say.
No, there, you can see them.
I'll take your word for it.
Oh, definitely there.
There's been 11 goals to 3, Gary, since that 10-minute mark, or the 9-minute mark of the third term, when it was 3 points to difference in favour of Melbourne. 11-3, and since half-time it's been 11-5.
It's been a very, very professional, I'd say professional performance as much as anything. And this bloke's been outstanding.
Holland will no doubt feature amongst the Toyota votes from Gary Lyon. Up goes Neitz, who spreaded the pack. Robertson and Vardy both love a goal. Back to Green. Robertson sets it up. Reed right on the forward 50, wanted to take off. We'll have to have a shot now from outside 50 as the red coats start to circle the MCG, which is a very good sign that we're not long left in this match. As you can see, 1:15 and counting. Phil Reed. Umpire's happy to let the clock just tick. Kicked 1 goal. Reed, he decides to handball it off. The big flyers. Robertson! Got it!
Play on,
Said the umpire.
happy.
No sense of humour here, the umpire. Let's have a look at that one again. He had a couple of grabs at it.
That's my man, Dean Margetts, the umpire there.
Yeah, 1, 2. Oh, that's a mark. Absolutely a mark.
Yeah, he's paid 8 free kicks all to St Kilda today, Dino.
No, well, that was he didn't pay that to St Kilda, he just didn't pay the mark.
What are you suggesting, Ryan?
Nothing.
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 Jeff White all on his own, Gary. Jeff White all on his own.
Bit on the Brownlow, get on him.
Kick the goal.
He's had a picnic, Jeff White. An absolute birthday out there. He's run around. He's had no one to worry about at all. His ruck work was great. That's when you have to worry about someone. You've got someone running at you. Robbo's spewing because he thought this was a mark and he should have slotted through the 23rd goal. It didn't matter because it ended up in the hands of Jeff White. 25 possessions. He's had 7 marks. God knows how many hit-outs.
Jeff White just capping off a wonderful day. Under 20 seconds remaining. This will be the 4th win this year by over 50 points for the Demons. Ball in the middle. Reed applying some pressure. Game over, done. Time ticking down. And Melbourne a win by 57 points.
And 7 wins in a row against Melbourne, stretching back to 1999.
Got some work to do as the St Kilda coaching box. Whereas the Demons have taken on the top of the ladder team and walked away almost with a 10-goal belting. That is impressive in anyone's language. 23-8-1-46. The Saints 13-11-89. The spread of goal scorers, they've got 10 separate goal scorers throughout the course of the afternoon, and that man, Nick Reebok, he was a beacon in the opposition side of the Saints. In the absence of Garrick, he stepped up and kicked 9 goals, but Neil Danaher would be keeping a lid pretty firmly clamped on this side of it. He must be absolutely delighted with the way they've gone through this. Just repeating, the Demons, 23 goals, 8, 146, defeating St Kilda, 13-11-89. David Neitz, the skipper, who had a quiet day, kicked 3 goals in pretty well junk time, really, in the last quarter. But it was White who was sensational. It was Holland across half forward. It was sensational. I'm not sure who Jason McCartney's got. He could take his pick, but he had one of the stars of this afternoon's match.
Yes, Gary, we've got the star of the show today, Jeff White. 25 possessions, topped off for goal, mate. Fantastic win.
Yeah, awesome. Neil pumped it up all week. Disappointing last week, but come out in such a big crowd against St Kilda on top of the ladder, just a fantastic effort.
And once again, a very even team performance, not relying on 1 or 2 players.
Yeah, and that's been the motto all year. We've really, from the forwards to the backs, we've been very consistent, and each week everyone stepped up, and today we all stepped up as a team, so it was a great team effort.
Ben Holland's form, 4 goals in the end, 20-odd possessions too, fantastic.
Yeah, awesome up here. Randy, put the motto on him this week. Said, look, lift, come at centre forward, and he did the job. It was great.
Well done, mate. Enjoy this.
Jeff White, one of the best players on the ground. And Ben Holland stepped up with Brad Miller, a late withdrawal, and had a Fantastic game, Travis. Johnstone back into the side was outstanding.
As you said, Gary, Nick Revolt, 9 goals. No other multiple goal kicker for the Saints today. All the others just one goal kicker. But a fantastic effort by the Melbourne Football Club. Congratulations to Paul Gardner, their chairman, and also to Neil Danaher, because the club was right under the hammer, particularly early in the season, and they now have a real chance to play officers for some September glory in 2004. In front of 54,000, they have won easily by 57 points.
Well, it was the top of the ladder, Saints up against 4th place Melbourne, but the Demons 57 points in the end. A magnificent second half. They kicked 12 goals to 5 and blew the game absolutely out of the water. The major goal scorers, of course, for the Demons were Brian.
Well, Ben Holland got 4, Neitz and Cam Bruce, and along with Brad Green, 3 apiece there. And Russell Robertson got a couple along with Peter Vardy and Travis Johnstone. Nick Grewalt, outstanding. 9 goals won today.
Arguably Ben Holland's best game in Melbourne colours. He's down the rooms with Jason McCartney.
Benny, midfield stats today for you as well. The 4 goals must have been a very pleasing result.
Yeah, it's great. I've been stuck in the forward pocket for a while, so to get an opportunity today with Brad Miller out and come up the ground a bit, I was rapt to take the opportunity.
And the boys upstairs talked about a bit. At times it looked like with Neitz being well held by Penny, he looked to be a bit of a decoy for you in the square.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, Nita pushed out and still provided that option across centre forward, but I mean, that's the beauty at the moment. We've both got 2 big guys down there, so creating the contest, and if one's not working, hopefully the other is.
And with Jeff White dominating in the ruck, gave the midfielders first use of the ball, plenty of supply.
Yeah, definitely. Whitey's been fantastic all year and just keeps on coming back. We were pretty disappointed last weekend over in Adelaide. We didn't live up to what we thought we could do, and today we were pretty determined to come out and play well, and that's what we did.
Well done, mate. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jace.